Hello, hello. We'll see. Should be live now. Double check, make sure everything's working here. Doesn't look like anyone's in the chat yet, so wait for some people to show up. Didn't do any announcements about this one, so. Hello, hello, Easier. Just doing a little stream here. Had some free time, so I figured now that I released the video I'd been working on for a while, just gonna do a little stream, play some of the new Vintage Cube on Arena that I'm excitedly waiting for, or waited to come out, so just do this and have a chat about the state of card games and stuff for anyone who's around. My audio coming through okay and everything, I hope? I lost all my gems. Never play show and tell. I wish it didn't cost as many gems. I recently watched Pleasant Kenobi released a video talking about how it costs the same number of gems as a regular draft and you don't keep the cards. So it kind of feels like they just want to price the drafts all of the same thing, which is definitely annoying. I would much prefer it if I could pay for free and then just not get any prizes. But obviously they want to make money, so it's an interesting pack here. What do I want? Anime Dead, I think. There's no fetches, no power. This pack kind of sucks. Time Warp. What's my worm? I think we're going with Anime Dead here. I guess I could first pick Dark Depths, but it's a little optimistic. I like Anime Dead first, I think. Tinker? That's fair, as in the Moto Vintage Cube also costs as much as the normal draft, and it's really fun. Yeah, I think you're paying a lot extra because it's fun to play rather than, you know, you're not planning on making your money back or anything. You're just here to play with some of the most fun, most powerful cards in Magic's history and have a good time doing it. And then if you win some prizes, then great, but that's more of just a little bit something on the side to have you have something to play for. Okay, got Anime Dead, got Tinker. If I'm doing Anime Dead stuff, Collective Brutality is really good. Could take a Fetch. Could take a Preordain. Lots of valid options here. I'm leaning towards the Preordain, I think. Preordain's usually pretty good in these combo-focused kind of decks. Just look for your key pieces on the early turns. In this pack, we got a Faithless Looting, bunch of lands, another fetch I don't really care for. I like taking fetches early typically in these kind of drafts, but I've already passed a couple because I also like finding direction early on for what you want to do. Yeah, in Pleasant Kenobi video, he was very, very negative on the fact that you'd basically get no value back and you have to still pay to play. I drafted this cube last night, built the perfect Darkness combo, and then never hit the Dark Depths. I was devastated. Yeah, that's the classic MTG 2-card combo problem where you have an incredible combo, like you have Dark Depths plus Sesame Stage or whatever, and then you just only ever draw one half and you're screwed. There are ways around that in here. There's a few ways to target. There's Elvish Reclaimer, there's Crop Rotation. There's a few ways to tutor for specific lands so you can actually set it up, but I don't know. I feel like the worst feeling is when you do actually get your Darkness combo to go off and then you get unsummoned and you're just like, oh. Oh, they're all starting to make this massive token and just lose to any bounce spell. I think I'm taking Trumpeting Carnosaur here. It's a good target for Reanimate. I'm not really doing anything with the Tinker yet, but it's good to Reanimate. Discards itself. Is that our K command? I do like K command, but I feel like Carnosaur's got to be the pick here. In this pack... Oh, here's Expedition Map, another way to set up that Dark Depths combo. Just have to draw one half and do the other. Multiversal Passage. I've seen this card. It's any land type, huh? Seems really like a good flexible pick here. Haven't actually taken it yet, but I think it's good here. Let's see here. Got Smuggler's Copper, got a Fiery Islet. Got Luis. Yeah. Don't really know what this stuff is for, to be honest. I figured there's probably some sort of sack deck in this Vintage Cube, but there's no like Bitter Blossom effect or anything, so I don't really know. What are your thoughts on what Konami is doing with the Genesis format? When you say what Konami is doing with the Genesis format, do you mean the recent list that they released, like changing anything? Channel Luis is so good. Oh yeah, I had that in one of my decks, but I just never drew Channel. I first picked Channel, and then I tabled the Luis, and I never got it to go off. This is a late Mind Twist. Mind Twist is definitely a lot worse than it used to be, but it's still Mind Twist. We can do stuff with this. Just gotta find some fast mana kind of things. Dark Depths came back? Okay, sure. Want to be a crazy game last night. Yeah, and how they banned Link and Pendulum. So they did that at the inception of the format. I like banning links. I think links are a step too good, if you ask me, in terms of like what you should be allowed to do in a powered down version of Yu-Gi-Oh's format. So I think that was a good step. I'm not as in for banning Pendulum, but I think it's fine because Pendulum's not like anyone's favorite. Take Detective Phoenix here. Could do something like this. Try to cater to early formats in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, I feel like it does an actual pretty good job of walking that line between like they're trying to cater towards those more early formats of things, but at the same time they're still keeping like powerful combos. You still have Xyz and synchros that you can do. There's still combos and lines and like the familiar decks from before, but it's kind of like tempered. Hi, see your stuff on my recommended all the time. Play Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! Hearthstone as a kid, and it's cool to see your competitive analysis and broken down by concept. Thanks. Glad to have you around. Branch here? It's very good. Okay, let's see. The most fun part of every Vintage Cube draft is you get to open your pack and see if you hint any of the broken staples. And I have, once again, missed on any power cards. I have an Animate Dead. Is it Entomb here? I can take Archon. I have a Faithless Looting. We can do Reanimate stuff. I feel like this is good. I want Currency Converter and Entomb as well, so one of those hopefully will come back around. Could try this. Ooh, Mana Drain? Yeah, Mana Drain's gotta be the pick. This is a card. I'm really looking to play Plateau right now. I was also kind of looking for stuff to do with this Tinker I picked early, but so far I've seen like no big artifacts. And there's been like very few small artifacts. I could take a Reckoner Bank Buster, I guess. Because this pack's really bad. All the good cards are in green or white. There's a bunch of artifacts I can't really take advantage of. I guess I got a Pirate Spawn with the sack. Could take Jace. Yeah. Yeah, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Does a good job like realizing that they should cater towards new formats and new players and that kind of thing. Like, it's pretty obvious, if you ask me, that that's something that they want to do. Chromux here over him. But I feel like Genesis is their first time where it's not just like, I liked Time Wizard, but that was just a step back into the past, and there were only a few formats of it, so they get kind of stale. Genesis being a rotating, not rotating, but a format that'll have more drastic changes happening to it more frequently, will hopefully keep a metagame somewhat fresh and give you new things to come back to, but will also provide like a level of gameplay that is different than the standard Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay right now. I think I'm taking Chromux here. So I think Genesis is definitely something I'm looking forward to seeing. It's still really early on, so it's hard to put tons of stake into it at the moment. Like we just don't know where it's going to end up. I'll take a Blood Crypt, that's fine. So it could end up in a lot of spots, but I'm cautiously optimistic, like I am with most things in Yu-Gi-Oh, where I'm like, this could be good. Let's hope they don't fuck it up. I could take a Misty, but it just gets blue. It gets blue red right now. Is that better than this Blazemire Verge? Probably. Don't really care for Croxa. Or is it like fine? Pest Infestation. Ooh, Life Death. This is what I want. Yeah, Life Death is definitely where it's at. I would love a Baleful Strix too, but... Would you consider making a video doing a deep dive into the positives and negatives of the Genesis format? It's a breath of fresh air for old Yu-Gi-Oh players. And what do you think about the point system in TCGs in general? So it's strange because in Magic, here, I am not the biggest fan of Canadian Highlander, which is their equivalent version. Canadian Highlander, for those who don't know, is literally the exact same as Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis, where they have, I think you get like, the amount of points is much lower. You get like 7 or something. But the idea is the same. Like you have super duper powerful cards like Black Lotus or Ancestral Recall and all this stuff. And there are pointed cards that you can...
This is all just an illusion.
Ooh, him or Lily? I think I like him. Oh, Lily's good. I'm a Reanimator. I'll take Lily.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come for answers.
Yeah, I do not like the point system of Canadian Highlander that much because I just feel like other formats do it better. But in terms of... Oh, maybe I should take that for Mind Twist now. But I do like it in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot more, mostly because of the way they've done the point system. They've given themselves 100 points, which gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of boxing other cards out and doing specific things with cards with 100 points or cards with 1 point, so you specifically can't combo it with an 100 card point total. So it makes it so you can, like, still, if there's something really unbelievably stupid, you can still do it, but it doesn't, like, end the world that you have really powerful things. This is my 3rd pack, bro. This stuff. Oh, I guess there's a Triplicate Titan. I can do stuff with Triplicate Titan. This actually is really good in my deck. I have a Tinker. I have a Tinker, and I have a bunch of Reanimator stuff, and this guy comes back. Yeah, Triplicate Titan's where it's at. I feel like Genesis helps them. Support for super old cards. Yeah, I agree with that. The thing about... So I hear a lot of topics about rotation and different versions of, like, basically ways to do things in terms of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has no rotation, so they just have a ban list, unlike the other modern card games usually do. But the thing that comes up over and over again is you can play with your old cards, but I would much prefer a format where the old cards can stay relevant without having to have a ton of support basically levied towards them. And I think that having a list of cards that you are still allowed to play with, like, it lets you play with Pot of Greed if you want, but having the optimal option be doing something else, I think is quite neat. Take a Raucous Theater here. I have a lot of black-red lands, so the blue splash is going to be awkward for Mana Twist, or for Mana Drain, but that's okay. So I do like Fallen Shinobi, but I don't think I have enough creatures. Like, I like that there's a format where you're legally allowed to play with Pot of Greed. I think that's cool. And it's even the fact that it's not good, I think, is also probably a good piece of design. What do I need in this deck? I need, like, a rock. Nice Whisper's, like, fine. I already have enough good reanimate targets. Yeah, I think so. Just take more draw. Jewel, Carnage Interpreter, Fable Passage, Marsh Flats. Marsh Flats gets red. Don't think I'm playing the Star Tips. I don't think I'm Coveted Jeweling. Seems like I'm just gonna lose it. Could take Deathrite. Sure. Damn, this has to have the Vulcan in it. Awkward. But Necromancy is where I want to be. Yeah, there's a lot of old cards that are, like, interesting because they could be played at lower power levels, but also could be interesting because they're, like, way too strong. So having to balance those two sides is something that is pretty difficult, and I think having a format like this will do well to do. I have to pass Underground Sea too? Jeez. Should I just take it? Chromatic Star's so good for my deck, though. Tinker is, like, perfect with it. Yeah, okay. Ponder. This pack, you take in a Braid, I guess? Or a Tiebinder? Nah, Braid's gotta be. Take a Battle Ball for a backup Triplicate Titan. I could take Vampire Hexmage. I don't think I always where I want to be. Even though I have Dark Depths, just no way to get it. Makes it too inconsistent. Yeah, I am planning on doing a video, it'll give you a little sneak peek for what's coming up, but I do plan on doing a video talking about formats. Now that the Genesis format has come out, a lot of people are talking about it. I think now would make for a good time to do that talk about how formats affect card games, because especially most of the big ones I talk about have different versions of formats, which make it quite interesting. I feel like all the old players would be surprised to see support cards for a Gaia the Fierce Knight and Buster Blader. Maybe. I mean, I think they would see it as different, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think most of them would be cool with having that be an option for them at least. I'm playing Monsters Rage. Want another swamp? Actually, I think another island because I have a lot of red-black lands. Tinker, Bankbuster, Braid, Cook a Dam. Yeah, my deck kind of just does one thing, but I think the thing is good. I'm just going to cut, like, the kill spell. My goal is I'm just going to try to dump a big guy in the graveyard and then Life Death or Reanimate it or something. Love your content. Keep with the great analysis. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Dragon. Hey, I'll try my best. I always do. It's been hard working on the most recent video I uploaded about the state of the greed in the card games, but especially because my content focuses on, like, the mechanics and the stuff that I like about the card games, and a lot of the direction seems antithetical to that. Like, they're trying to pump up the new designs or the crossovers or all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't really care about any of that. I would much rather talk about, like, you know, new designs, new elements, new card types, new game modes, you know, the game parts, the part that keep me coming back every time. I'm not going to come back to a game because it's like, oh my god, they released Avatar. I gotta look now. I'm like, I don't really care about any of that stuff. All right, this deck looks like a good time. I could play Lapis Roots, but I think we're good with this. Just got a bunch of card draw, a bunch of reanimates. I got a Tinker. See how they go. Have you considered looking at some other big new games? Star Wars Unlimited, Earthbound, and One Piece. Watching the video? Yeah, I definitely felt like the video was required. I needed to talk about what's going on in Hearthstone. I put it off for far too long about how that gacha game mechanic was. It's so disgusting to me how they did it. What happened to talking about card games? What happened to battles? That's a great question. I don't know. Maybe they'll bring it back eventually. They're a little bit distracted right now doing crossover stuff. But can you think of a very battle themed crossover area where we could put them in? That's about my only hopes for actually getting it in nowadays. I think. You give this in? I think it's fine. I got card draw. Well, we can make that. I always think about looking at other card games and other versions of things, but I might do a video talking about why I don't talk about the smaller card games and things at some point. Something worth going into, probably. Let's just fire off Nice Whisper, I think. Edge of Eternity was really good for battles. Edge of Eternities? That's true. Yeah, that would have been a good spot to put them. I wonder why they didn't put them there now you mention it. Strange. Alright, we got our Entomb. All we got to do is ponder our way into a way to use it. Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Yeah, there were a lot. Maybe they didn't like the design of battles, perhaps. Because those are a lot of good spots to put it in, and they're just maybe they were not meaningful enough, I suppose. Hard to tell. Okay, so we're looking for a reanimate effect with this. Here we go. Decline. I got to ask Gavin about battles. He said that they were waiting to start to design the next wave of battles. They had feedback on the first wave, so I'm assuming it's coming in the next couple years due to their design cycle. Could be that, yeah. That would make sense. They're finally going to bring it back. Just waited a little bit of time before actually pulling the trigger, I suppose. So next turn I get to go... What does this hit? Creatures or artifacts? So it gets my death rate. If they come at all. Yeah, we'll see if they come. They're probably designing some new ones. I'd be surprised if we didn't see them ever again, but I'm curious to see how they're actually going to do with it. Didn't you really enjoy it? You be positive about them? Yeah, I don't think many people were that negative about them, which is why I'm thinking maybe on the design side they're struggling more rather than the other side. Like they all are kind of attached to different options. Like they all have to be attached to like this is the way, you know, this battle works because we had an ETB effect we put on it or something. It's been 2 years already. Jeez. Yeah, it was quite a while ago. It was in a Good Morning Magic stream where I asked him. Yeah, so it could be that they're just not focused on that aspect and they're more focused on crossover and stuff, which is why when I think of a place battles could come back, like I'm pretty sure Edge of Eternities is a little bit tinfoil hat for me, but Edge of Eternities was placed. And now we have confirmation of a Star Trek set. And it's about a year apart. So it feels a little bit like they are like, hey, we got a new contract with Star Trek. Let's do a space theme set now so we can set up the Star Trek stuff. Which is like, fine, I like Edge of Eternities, but it does feel a little bit like they had a different reason to do that. Tomb, and I think Triplicate Titan is good, but other guy is better. Archon, you gotta put the Archon. The Din. For this for 2. And we did with mana drain up. Yeah, Edge of Eternities was very well made, I will say. Like, I feel like they put a lot of work into it because they knew they were gonna do that crossover thing, so they wanted to make sure it was actually like worth players' time. Which is good if all the sets are like that. I don't really care if the setting changes that much to be in space. That's fine. Certainly a lot of people I knew liked the set quite a bit. So I'm okay with that. I just hope that there's, you know, maybe if they make a set that isn't specifically focused to enable a crossover, that it'll also be good. I'm curious what the other subtitle battle will be since we only saw sieges. Yeah. Maybe like a defensive battle that you play on your side and you have to sit on for certain amount of time than we might kind of guess, but who knows? They have a lot of options for it. Ooh, I can play Island next turn, and then I can DAC the currency converter. I love DAC. This card's so sweet. I wish he didn't get murdered and then removed. But I don't really see how I lose from this situation. I just have to keep Archon alive. Yeah, if I'm talking about formats of card games, I'll talk about Genesis, I'll talk about Cube that is recently out here. I wonder how people feel on this Cube right now, because I'm certainly a big fan. I've seen a lot of content creators talking about how they enjoy it, but after seeing Kenobi's video, I'm a little, like, more weary. Phone was fun, right? I don't really care. I really wish Station was more pushed. Station feels so weak and slow at sorcery speed. I agree. I understand why they left it at sorcery speed. Like, I think it'd be a bit too good if they didn't do that, but it certainly feels a lot weaker because of the way they did it. Just use Stack to steal this.
Your security is embarrassing.
Station at Sorcery made the limited format and removal suite really good to play. It doesn't help that they put a crap ton of really good removal just in the set there. Like, they had 4 mana exile removal, they had a bunch of 3 mana burn spells that were pretty good. Like, Bombard was a card in the set that was 3 mana deal 4, and that's usually like a staple common removal spell, and it wasn't even that good because there were just so many good removal spells basically in the set. Alright, my opponent's just gonna duck that Archon. Very good. I think Station would have been a bit too good at instant speed because it would have basically been free. The idea is that Station works like Crew, where you can activate like the turn after you play the guy, which is fine. And it does make sense as a mechanic. I just feel like Station, like, they made too many really either high mana value Station costs, or they made them way too, like, needing the first effect to be good because you could never reliably Station the card. This sounds great, right? I go Lily into Necromancy. Seems good. IMO, they should have just raised the Station where it made the card slightly worse to make up for the fact that Station was better. They could have done that too. There were a lot of ways to go with it. So the fact that it is a dud definitely is sad. Or it ended up dudding, I guess I should say. I did like Edge of the Turn Limited, but I mean, you can't really run the Station cards in the aggro environment. Yeah, there were some Station cards that were really pushed, like Fell Grabship and stuff. But in terms of the ones that were actually like a lot of the ones that you would expect to be staple, like the 6/5 flyer or whatever that has a station cost of 3, like you'd think he'd be really good, and then he just like wasn't, because you could just never guarantee station. So the only ones that were good were the ones where you basically got you just wanted the front half of the card. The back half would be nice, but it's not like the end all be all. Uh-oh. My opponent is playing a Sword of Fire Nice on turn 2 with a crap ton of stuff in play. Yeesh. Okay. That's in 2, but I don't need it.
And you think you can win? We all have those we love.
The interaction between Station and Warp is so cool. I agree. I do like the way Station works with Warp. I mean, it's obviously intended, right? But Okay, this deck is bad. Yeah, you got to do it the other way. I wonder if a lot of these people haven't played Vintage Cube before and don't know how this stuff works. Like the sword or whatever. Okay, figure it out. I do think that was the way Station was meant to work too, with the whole warp thing. That was kind of the idea, but still ended up coming up short. Chromox. Not exactly what I had in mind. Oh, he's also holding up mana, but I can't not do this. Okay, nice. Ooh. Okay, that's good. So if I can Mystical Tutor for erase that effect. Life Death. If he kills the Archon here. And if he doesn't do that, I can get something else into play, like Triplicate Titan or Battlesphere. Pretty good. When did this Counterspell get in the yard? Discarded that? Oh, because he didn't have double blue. Sure. Do I want to grab Life Death, or do I just grab Mana Drain? It's probably good to grab Life Death. Start by going for the attack here. Should be fine. Now, do I want Battlesphere or Triplicate Titan? I think I want the Battlesphere. Just safer. Looks pretty good to me. And we're just gonna kill him with Battlesphere with the mirrors. Love me some Mirror Battlesphere. This is one thing I miss from Magic too, is that cards like this used to be cool things to play in Commander, like the big beefy boys. Now these cards are less and less printed. They're still somewhat like Atraxa, I suppose, but cool concepts for cards. That's a video I might want to make about big beaters in card games and stuff. I feel like they used to do it a lot more, but with power creep and the speeding up of games, it just happens less and less. Damn, this guy's got Mana Crypt, a Mox, a bunch of card draw, Counterspell, Dak. Yeah, but this guy just drew an answer for the Archon. He would have won so easily.
There's plenty of profit to be had. taking that?
Oh. Damn. Definitely don't want this. Okay, so I can DAC back the Battlesphere? Sure. And I can play Death Rate. I can start just threatening to kill him with it.
There's nothing sweeter to steal.
We're just gonna wait for him to Dynamacro.
It's embarrassing.
Damn. I missed lethal. Teferi off the top.
If you show remorse, I'll...
He tucks Battlesphere.
Let's take it back.
I do just have the option to kill with Death Right over 2 turns here, so I just gotta not lose.
I'm a talented
And a snap? This guy's deck is so good. Do you think that most people in your community are working on their own card games, or more people who are passively interested in comparative design? I think I get a good deal of both. I do think I have a lot of people who are interested in what you were talking about, the like designing their own card games. I've got a lot of people reaching out with that kind of stuff, which is interesting to me because I provide a lot of information on the thing, but a lot of card game designers, I think they go in with the best intentions and they come out worse for wear after decisions are made that end up poor for them. So, hard to tell. This guy's really struggling. He must be playing on mobile or something. Now Dak lives. Oh, I guess that does do it. No need for flip required. Do this. And do this. Nice. Yeah, there's lots of card game designers that reach out to me and stuff. But getting into talking about other card games would probably open me up to that avenue more. Looking at cool designs and stuff, but there's a lot of aspects of card games that are done by the big 4 or the big 3 main card games, and then by like Hearthstone and the larger digital ones like Pocket and stuff that I think, well, not Pocket really as much because there's not a community aspect to that game as much as there is for games like Hearthstone or whatever, or World of Warcraft, that kind of thing. Like community is a big thing for me. So when you have a smaller card game and you're building up that community from scratch, it takes more time. We just need to discard Relic Titan anyway, right? And then we can bring him back. Or we can just have Archon on top and Surveillance a Yard. Turn 1 Ancient Tomb, Reckoner, Bankbuster. Turn 1 and 2. I can't do it because it's a tap land, so unlucky, but that's fine. Next turn we can entomb something, play Chromatic Star, and then we're off. Yeah. It's interesting to work on a card game and then see a YouTube channel like mine to get info. I wonder if there's any other better ways to get info from places. I guess not. Your opponent's gonna pay like all of his life to this Ancient Tomb. I have heard that some people don't even play card games and just like to watch my videos for the thoughts on design and stuff, which I would is crazy to me, but I'm certainly a fan. I mean, if you like watching my stuff just to have something on in the background, I don't mind. Listen to me talk about things I'm passionate about. Some people are interested in that kind of thing. I guess I never thought myself that good of a speaker, but if people like it, you know, I won't stop them. Interesting. Okay, sure. I'm just gonna put a land in and use Bankbuster as soon. Neat. Can work on back. This is my first time actually playing Reanimator in this Vintage Cube. It's working out pretty well, to my knowledge, so far. I mean, I've been just putting Archon in. I think Archon's like by far the best thing to bring back every time, which is helping, but it's going surprisingly well. I don't know if anyone ever asked you, but have you ever tried designing your own card game? What's it like? Any ideas trying to implement? I've never tried designing my own trading card game. Turns out when you know a lot about the ways people design it, you realize how much work it is. It's so much more work to make something functional than you would think, and I don't want to get sucked in. So I try to stay away and mostly look from afar, look at new card games, look at old card games, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of actually like getting into it and doing my own, maybe another time. Or maybe when I'm older and I have lots more time to do that kind of thing. I like your approach because when you think about how topics you're talking about should be implemented in my game, if it should be present at all, because widespread. I do try to be very impartial with my videos when I'm comparing things like that. That's true. I guess there's not that many other people who talk about multiple in the same video, so you'd have to kind of watch many different things and then coalesce everything in a way that I don't do it. So it makes sense to me. Archon. Another guy. Let's go. Thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope your day is going great. These are both pretty good, right? Yeah, I'd say so. Could bring back Ulamog, but I think it's still better to bring back Archon. Coke TCG. Yes. Big fan of soda, believe it or not. Hence I named the channel after it. I always thought about changing the names though. It's rather generic, my name. But it seems like people like it. Have they added all cards and formats into Arena finally? No, they've just added a basic... okay, so they have Vintage Q, basically. It's not... They don't have Vintage on here. It's called Historic or whatever. But they have added... They've already added a large number of the cards that would be required to play this format on. Like, they already have different versions of Jace and things. So they just kind of added in the filler cards that they need to put in, like... I think Arkham was already in here, but like Anime Dead and Necromancy and stuff, like... Basically all the things to fill in. I think the Power 9 is in Vintage Cube and not Timeless. Yes, I do believe. That is true. Yeah, some cards are not in Arena. Yeah, there are lots of cards in Arena, but not all of them right now.
I grant you
Archon.
I will put an end the wise. Heed my
And he's got a pedal, and he just wasted it.
heed my
Thanks for what you do. Oh, no problem, Ashton. I try my best. That's all I could ever ask. So we exile my guy. Oh, annoying. Okay. Let's see what's on. Ponder. I'm shuffling. I get a DAC. I don't have enough mana to do DAC plus the thing I want. I think I'm just playing them anyway.
Looks like you could use a helping hand. A little looting never hurts.
Awkward. So weird hearing your voice on 1x speed. Tell me about it. Although I speak so quickly, I'm surprised people, you know... I got a lot of comments saying I talk too fast. So the fact that you listen to me on 2x speed is a little bit surprising to me. Oh, you he's gonna Udamog me.
I know many arcane rituals.
I guess this would have been a reason to use Life Death last time over Animate Dead, but I don't think it really matters because then he just exiles it with Ugin off Lotus Petal anyway. Yeah, no. I definitely listen to all my YouTube videos at 2x speed. You can imagine having to look at different card games and content of all different sources like that. You'll have to do that kind of thing.
Time to cut my losses.
Okay, he did fuck it up, but I don't think it matters. Also, I have 20 cards back, so I'm just gonna dive into this attack next turn. Which means I need to Night's Whisper into something. Yeah. Can't be mad about that one. Opponent's deck was good. Opponent had a good deck, and my draw was not fast enough to outpace all of their ramping with Ancient Tomb. How often are you reached by subscribers regarding their own games? Somewhat recent, or somewhat decently, I would say. I've gotten over a dozen emails about people talking about their own card games or new things, new releases, that kind of stuff. It's interesting to me because I know a lot about the card games that I play, but in terms of design, I feel like that's a different skill set. So it's good to like look at other card games to get like an idea for where to aim your design kind of stuff. But in terms of what I specifically know, like I'm not a designer. So I can tell you like what I know from playing the games a lot, but I can't tell you like how to make your game, which is also why I think that knowing about it's the same thing as like being a games reviewer versus being a game creator. Like if you review, you know what you want to see, but in terms of actually making it, that's a whole different ballpark, if you ask me. Did you ever check on those? I did. I looked at a lot of them. I looked at some people reaching out, but in terms of making videos and stuff about it, I never... I thought about doing it. Mostly I see there's other review channels like Kodak and stuff, which I see do that kind of thing much better than I would, so I leave it to them usually. Not that I wouldn't mind doing it, but... just not my space, kind of feels. Can't remember, can't remember that for 6. Guess I'm gonna twist for 1. Wish I was on the play with the Gromux. Okay, no land. Mark Roser's podcast is hard to listen to and not start designing. I mean, there's a reason he's made so many freaking games and why a lot of them has stood the test of time. He definitely knows what he's doing in terms of designing. But I'm sure he, gets reached out to like not constantly, so he's probably a bit harder to get a hold of. Gonna get the land off 6 here. Probably just didn't do this attack first. How good is Ponder here? It's like okay. Sure. Tinker, I don't have an artifact. Archon, I don't have a reanimate. I think I'm just shuffling. Do this. Where's my artifact? This and this. This game's not going well. My opponent has too much fast mana for me to realistically keep up with here, feels. And a time walk? Jeez. Just a head on a ton. Crazy one mana drain is like way too slow. That's the thing about Power Cube sometimes, like, especially because a lot of the cards in this version of the Vintage Cube, like, they're missing a few key pieces. A lot of these super duper fast starts are being on the play matter a lot more. I do wish they had a best of 3 mode as well. Oh, playing. Sure. Is he get any card? Target card. Damn. So he's gonna rebuy Time Walk and then. So I'm like Omega dead. He can't play it, but. Yeah, I need to hit Animate Dead off this. They have best of 3. Yeah, they do have the best of 3 on the other one, but then you have to play 3 matches only rather than having it more. Like the payout basically for this one is better, which annoys me because I would like to have the same payout for best of 3, but this one is just better if you get 3 wins, whereas in the other one, if you get 3 wins, you gotta get them all like in a row. Also, that one's not ranked. Also, yeah, just to give you watching you since you did. Oh, I'm glad I'm having influence on a lot of people's games. It's good to look at this stuff. I'm surprised. I guess I thought it would be easier for people to look into this stuff on their own, but if my channel helps them out to find that stuff, then it's important to you making it, I suppose. How good is this? Can I just draw the 2 lands? That's fine. I was so confused to see Channel with no Fireball. But then I saw Luis and it suddenly made sense. Channel is obviously super good, but with the Power Cube, it feels weird not to include. Yeah, I mean, Channel is already just like so broken on its own. You don't have to do anything special to make Channel good. Channel's super broken card just by itself. I mean, you can ramp out Ulamog, you can ramp out Embercool. Like, Fireball is one of the lower end things in terms of stuff that I think would be pretty broken to use Channel on. Should we start dacking? Yeah. I shouldn't have played Dack here.
I hate to fight. I love information's almost as good as money.
Let's go by Titan. Next turn we can twist for 3. Yeah, I don't know why they made the traditional draft for the Power Cube suck. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like such a cool thing, and if they want to get money out of it, that's fine. But like, I don't know why they have to make it so shittily. You know what I mean? Do this game.
Isn't the unknown exciting?
How extremely awkward of him. At least I can kill this. Because it's definitely an issue.
Off you go.
I don't want lands. I want reanimate. Yeah, Hull Breacher is definitely a beating of a card. Makes sense that it's in here though for all the wheel. You can go Hull Breacher wheel effect and then do that. I'm glad there's a lot of cool stuff in this cube to do. A little bit boring than just playing Reanimator right now, but lots of neat stuff to do. I'm hoping he doesn't have anything too devastating here with these 2 free treasures he got off my deck. What if I just went land my twist? Then I dacked. That would have been interesting. Probably still worse though. He's only better if he discards the Breacher. Oh, he's wheeling now? Okay. Didn't hit reanimate effect again. Just mildly annoying. When I was making my videos, I definitely didn't think it was going to end up being a designer's like area of expertise, like lots of people looking at it. There were those reasons. I kind of thought it would more just be like basically me, you know, doing cool, talking about things I find neat about cards. Oh, he's getting the Shellblock card. It's a crab. Okay, don't be that bad. Carnosaur. Okay. And the enemy dead off the top. My mother. By the way, what is your take on your take your opponent's like game control creature, like mind control-esque effects? I mean, I like them. I think they're really cool, and I understand why they're in the game. Okay, definitely shouldn't have taken Triple Titan. This play was terrible. He could have just taken the Carnosaur and then easily won. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. You have Grief too? Well, what the fuck was this turn, man? Wheel into Reanimate Grief? Crab off of Shelldock? Jesus Christ. So he lets me keep the mana drain. I just have the uptick deck on him. So I get the spell ball. Did I discard Archon? I didn't, right? Did he discard anything good? He discarded Grief as well? I can't do that, though. Do that first, for sure.
Well, this'll fetch a nice price.
Oh, so I can Lily and then Life Death deck the ball. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Drop it.
Yeah, I do like taking cards from the opponent. I think it's a pretty cool mechanic. It can be frustrating, obviously, but it does a lot of interesting stuff, I think. Let's put this on blue. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with like taking your opponent's cards, randing your opponent's cards, stealing cards from your opponent's hand. I think it's all like, it's good design space. It's hard to design around. You have to design it in a way that's balanced and feels fair for both players. Like, obviously, it feels kind of fair to me when you have something really strong and your opponent takes it. Like, that's feeling like pretty balanced to me, mind control-esque effects and stuff. But you have to do it in a way where it's not too frustrating for the opponents. Like, I don't think in general you should be able to cheat it out before the opponent gets the chance to play a card as such. I was gonna say, if he remanaged the Titan, I just take it again. Dak is just gonna eviscerate this guy. So let's start here.
I'm a talented improviser.
Do I need Death Ray? No. Star, Lily.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Just the heck with this, I think. I already used Anime Dead. I already used Life Death. I have Necromancy left. Let's see if we draw it. Game is really showing the power deck, even though I got completely crushed by the Hull Breacher on turn 3. Dak just completely is dominating this game by himself. Took the Triplicate Titan, and basically put all the important cards in my yard. I have a draw card from your opponent's hand kind of effect. Do you think it might be a bad idea? Oh no, definitely not. You mean your opponent's like draw from your enemy deck? Because that's something they do in Hearthstone quite a bit, and I think it's quite good design.
always hated crowds.
Tinker into.
Exciting.
There it is. I think I want the recon. No, it's look at your opponent's hand and put one card from it into yours. That could be balanced. I mean, Magic has a somewhat similar effect. They printed was like a 4-mana-ish spell. So I don't think it can definitely work. Cardboard Enjoyer. Hello. Very apt name for the channel you're on. Yeah, the effect you get to keep what you pick and destroy combos. Yeah, could do a lot to destroy combos and that sort of thing, but also it depends on like if you're getting a free use of whatever the thing you take is too. In general, effects like those are a fun thing to add, though. I think like it's a cool idea. So if you can make it work in your game, you probably should, in a way that's like balanced. I generally think things that like are generally taboo in games like land destruction or like really, really long combos, unless they're ergonomically obviously you think a thing you don't want to do, like you should try it at least to see if it works out. Mind control-esque effects, like one of the best cards in Magic for this kind of effect is Mindslaver. It's just such a sweet way of doing, like, controlling your opponent's entire turn is such a cool idea. Like, those kind of things are things that should be delved into if your card game can accommodate them, I think. Oh, this hand's so awkward. If I draw a blue card, it's fine. I can pre-redeem. It's price at the same cost of unconditional creature removal. Could work. For a single target. I mean, yeah, I can imagine that working. That's right. Yeah, single target, take something from the hand, good against combo decks, interesting against control decks, but like worse than regular removal against aggressive decks. Yeah, seems fine. Depends on what state your game is into, but makes sense to me. Most higher slice. That's a good draw. Those are not good. Take any discard enabler. That works. Although I worry I might be a little slow against red here. Ooh, that's also awkward. He's also going to be dead. That is a good draw. Have you played Duel Masters? I'm currently building a draft queue for our TCG community. I haven't personally played Duel Masters, but I've seen Duel Masters, obviously. Everyone knows Duel Masters. So. Would have much obviously rather done this on Archon, but I'm turning down a free. Since they didn't pay for their research, that seems theoretically fair without context. Yeah, it seems fair. If you're paying for the thing on the board and then taking it, that could also be fair, depending on how you priced it and how good of a thing to take it would be. But I feel like the 5-mana Mind Control in Magic is generally a pretty good example of this effect working out in a way that's like strong but balanced, because the 5-mana slot's pretty high up there. Yeah, certainly heard a lot about Duel Masters, especially you guys have probably all seen Kodak. I'd be surprised if you hadn't seen Kodak, but if you haven't checked out his channel, he talks a lot about Duel Masters-esque card games and things. Oh, this is an interest trigger as well. I didn't know that. Thought it was just a deals damage trigger. So he's like aggro reanimator kind of thing. It's a neat way of doing this. I do think he's going to be dying if he doesn't have something here, because I can just play Opera Mox. Decline the trigger, then tinker it. Oh yeah, put the Battle Seer into play, put the mirrors out. Get in there for big boy damage. Oh yeah. See, this is part of the reason I love Vintage Cube so much. Like, you can have these like more fair mid-rangey style battles where you have like normal stuff, but you also have the unfair half where you can just bring out massive monsters for extremely cheap. Like, it feels to me a lot like how Yu-Gi-Oh wants to be, where you have like a lot of cards that are good for this sort of nickel and dime style gameplay, but you also get the other half of like really powerful combos and cool plays you can do a lot of the time, kind of doing a ton of stuff at the same time, but also being able to do slow stuff and not just like my opponent's not dead yet. I brought out a bunch of really powerful things, but like 2 exile spells and my board is significantly neutered. Looks like my opponent's dead though. Have you played a lot of different kinds of cube in Magic? I really like the idea, but I've never played one before. I played a bunch of different cubes. Cube is the best way to play Magic, in my opinion. There's so many different options for how to build your cubes. If you want power, if you want lower power. I personally like the higher power level cubes because I'm familiar with all the cards, but if you want a designed experience, I think there's no better way to play than Cube. It gives you so many options. It's just incredible. Reanimate this, because if you reanimate something big, you just die. It's really funny. I made an Ixalan cube, and it's so much fun. Yeah, cube is awesome. It just gives you both a lot of flexibility in terms of like what you want to play with, what you want to make. You can make flavorful designs, interesting designs, powerful designs. Like, I also think limited is something that is probably the thing that justifies Magic the most in terms of its actual existence. Like, I did a stream, I think it was a few months ago now, where I did a bunch of playing of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and there was a point in the stream where I asked something along the lines of, oh, like, why is this card a UR? Like, what's the justification behind the pricing of the different cards? And everyone just kind of shrugged their shoulders and went like, it's just priced how it is. Magic has, like, a bunch of stuff to be like, hey, this is a limited format, which means we have to put cards of common and uncommon so you can justify how often you are going to receive them, which is quite interesting. How would you handle different rarities? How many of each of your cards is included? Probably up to you. Usually I would make it like you have the core elements that you need included, and then you can just kind of splash in whatever archetype cards make the set good. 3-card blind. What's your thoughts on that? 3-card blind. I feel like I've heard of that. It's the one where there's like 3 piles, and then you look and you pick one, and it's like for 1v1s. Can you keep this? I have Entomb. It's a little too bad, I think. This is better. Sure. So I can go mystical for life death. Yeah, this works. Yeah, they really started pumping out the Master Duel cards for no reason. Malice is like 45 to 55 euros. Yeah, I don't really know why they need to do that, to be honest, but nobody can stop them, I suppose. So we get life death here. Shot. Gonna lose a lot of life in this process, but it's worth it. I'm gonna go down to 9 here, but I get my Archon in play. I kill the Lilia. And I have Ponder to look for more reanimate effects. It's the worst part of playing anything made yourself is finding the player to participate. Yeah, that's always the hard part of all the card games. That's why they have such a premium and why I have such a premium on the digital versions of products, because it's always the hardest part of any card game or any game at all is just getting people to play with. If you can convince people to play with you and find a group of people who are willing to play with you, doing almost anything will be way more fun, especially in person. So that's why I rag so hard on things like Master Duel and Arena and Hearthstone, like, because the whole point of the digital client is that you don't have to go through the work of finding a local game store, finding friends, finding a time where you can go play. Like, that's all handled for you. It's part of the reason I love Magic too, is because you can skip all of that. Not to say that it's a bad thing. I like doing that, like going in person and doing stuff like that too, but it'd be a lie to say it's not a lot of work, obviously. Dragon Managing is good here. Do this, play this guy to chump with. Race being best of all rarities less important than the integrity of card archetypes in the cube. Yeah, exactly. So the actual rarities don't really matter a ton when you're the one building the cube. You can put whatever cards at whatever rarity you think is necessary to make your cube function. Yeah, bullshit here. Necromancy on this just kills him unless he has exile removal, in which case I'll feel pretty stupid for jumping. He does have a Sundark Jet I can bring back. I use that as an opportunity to use my excellent bulk, so actually... Yeah, there's a lot of options in terms of when you are making cubes. You can make lower power stuff, higher power stuff, use whatever you have. It's so flexible. It's really nice. I also think limited formats get to show a lot more diversity than a lot of people, especially in constructed formats. You'll get kind of sick of playing the same deck over and over again, which is where you get tempted to spend money on other things. Limited trades that in where you pay up front to do the thing, but then you get a whole new experience basically every time. Which is why I think a lot of entrenched players like myself find limited formats so much fun. And they also do a good job justifying the existence of commons. Like, you get to play with common cards that, if you're playing another game like Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's a bunch of cards that I'm sure have like literally never ever seen played by anyone, because why would you? There's no reason for them to exist. Which is definitely feels bad. Do I mulligan this hand? Turn 3 DAC probably. Bind Twist is kind of awkward here, but I got a Battle Ball. It's kind of mid. 5 and 2 is very nice. Well played. Oh, thanks. I try my best. I feel like I've gotten somewhat lucky here. I went up playing against too many opponents. Like, it's definitely possible you just queue into decks that have, like, turn 1, you lose. I don't have any forces in my deck or anything to stop that kind of thing, so that stuff can certainly happen to me, but I've gotten pretty lucky with bringing out my Reanimator stuff and getting it online. My opponents not having answers. I have a friend who will only play the one commander deck over and over and over. That's the other thing. I mean, if you like your deck, you can play it like 100, 1,000 times. Magic is the kind of game where if you have, because of the way different decks are and different games are, like, you can play the exact same deck 100 times and it'll still provide you with new experiences. So I need to draw. Oh, that's really not good. Okay. Okay. I just need to draw Dak or Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting would be really good here. That's a start. I think I can't sack the star. It's my deck. He just only wants to play your one deck. Sag. Should tell him to get his own at some point. Okay, well. Faithless Looting, Lily. I can mana drain whatever he does next. Or he just has nothing, okay. I think I just want to mana drain and then play Archon at this point. It's just not doing anything. This is definitely not how I thought this game would go. That's useless. What else if I drew a second blue source from my mana drain? Okay. Get down the Archon, and I think I should have it wrapped up from here with the Necromancy in my hand to bring it back. I got in the bit into Popper. I don't know, it's missing something. Farm feels diverse, but I find it stale. All the way you win is by min-maxing. All the way you win is by min-maxing. It's interesting to hear. I guess, yeah, that's kind of true, but that's because Popper's like a really old format, like it's really been explored a lot. If you want a more radically different format, trying something a bit newer or fresher is probably where I would stick to, because Popper is really old. Popper's been around a long time. And there's a lot of min-maxing in it, obviously, but there's min-maxing in all formats, so I feel like that's kind of just the nature of the beast. Maybe I should play Titan. Probably still play Titan eventually. I have enough lands. Just draw like all lands. Ooh. He's on Reanimator. Okay, well this still should be fine for me. He's gonna use Grizzly EB. Modern Horizons said it really shook it up. Also, new standard cards added, so it changes. Yeah, it definitely changes a lot over time with Modern Horizons sets and all these different things coming in, but the format's been around a long time, so there's been a lot of like established strategies and stuff that already exist, and then they get added onto a lot with new Modern Horizons cards. I draw my animated. No, that does do what I want it to do. Can tinker for Battle Ball, right? Yeah. I don't know, something feels stale. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I wonder why that feeling is. Of the format feeling stale to you despite it having many new decks and many different archetypes. I didn't know Gristlebrand's in the queue, to be honest. 1-4 for you, resource system this time. If you just get X of a research each turn, with X determined by your deck building only, what do you think? Resource systems this time. You just get X of resources each turn, cumulative, like you get it going up every time, with X determined by your deck building only. What do you think? I've seen decks or games that play with that kind of design where you're going to have like basically a building amount of something over time. So, like, depending on what power level your deck is, you can either get a lot of stuff out really fast, or you can get more powerful stuff, but at a slower pace. I have definitely seen that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's something I'm interested in looking into more because it's a really, really hard thing to balance in terms of like how much of everything you get. I think if you can do it correctly, it's really good, but it's really hard to balance all the different aspects. Just both the Archons now, jeez. This guy has it all. Necromancy, Enemy Dead, Persist, and Duress. Mana crystals and 20-25 hearts are kind of like that with Zero. A bit, yeah. Yeah, Grizzlebrand was just the best enemy target, huh? I forced him to discard it off Archon. So I need to hit, and I did. So it's not gonna do it. Yeah, the Ysera card, though, is, like, playable on its own. Like, it's not that much of a weaker card than other cards in the game, so playing a Ysera down isn't, like, a huge cost to put in your deck, I would say. You kind of want to do that anyway if you're a deck that has Ysera in it, so. It definitely changes the way the game is played, but it's not, like, such a huge difference, especially because it's only relevant later on. Like, I'm talking more games where, like, you can choose to start with, like, 3 lands in play, but your deck contains much weaker cards, whereas you can choose to start with 1 land in play, building over time. So you get access to a lot fewer cards, but your cards are much more powerful as a trade-off. How good is wheeling in every card game? I'm trying to think. Most games have wheel-type effects. I could do something like that. It's an interesting topic for sure. Maybe that one's on the list, but there's just not too much to talk about in terms of wheel effects. I haven't already talked about in my card draw videos. I could do it though. I meant more of a you start a game of Magic with 8 lands in play and you don't lose mana when turn in. Yeah, that's what I'm. Oh, I see what you're saying. So like you have like a set resource pile that you begin with. What is a wheel type effect? A wheel type effect is named after Wheel of Fortune, which is a card that says each player draws 7 cards and then or discards their hand and then draws 7 cards. So that's what Wheel of Fortune does, and there's lots of cards, like, kind of similar to Magic Mallet or Reload from Yu-Gi-Oh!, where you just, like, remove all the cards in your hand and get a fresh hand, basically. Is it channel time, folks? I feel like it's channel time. I'm a big channel fan, or a Swords fan. I think Swords is also quite good, but I think you just gotta pick channel, right? Channel is so good. Maybe I'll table Pest Infestation to go with it. Maybe Ugin. Yeah, I think it's interesting with games where you start with all the resources up front every turn. It's easy to like have the power spike happen at the very beginning of the game, and then the rest of the game feels kind of irrelevant, Yu-Gi-Oh style. So it's something you want to be careful with. I like games that have a more steady progression, kind of up the thing, which is what Ramping Mana does. But it depends on what you want your game to feel like. Well, yeah, it's channel time. What do I want to do now? Uro, Craterhoof. Craterhoof's like meh to me. This whole pack's kind of like meh to me. Currency Converter. I've done a surprising amount of losing to Zuran Orb, actually. Card's quite good if you can build the shell for it. I guess I take Craterhoof. I don't really like it. It's not a Currency Converter. If I want to do like Reanimator things or Artifact things. His pack certainly leaves to be desired a lot. I guess I take Currency Converter. Not happy about it though. Not happy about that pick at all. Oh, Burly Rice is in here. That would have been nice last draft. There's Comet. This card's obscene. Do I just take Comet? This is a card most people haven't played with if you haven't played specifically Vintage Cube, because it's in Silver Border. But this card is unbelievably broken. it's a planeswalker that has the risk of, like, you always have the chance you can just kill your opponent if you roll off 6s, and if not, it still does like really good things when you play it. Why'd you take Comet? Really nothing good to channel in yet. I guess so. Yeah, Comet is so gross. Okay. I feel good about that. Now I just want to take Dak again. I think Dak is just so good as well, like always. It's really hard to not have a good Dak. It's that or Baleful Strix, Nettle Assist. No green cards in the pack. It's gotta be Dak. Dak's so good. I lost like 4 6s last night. That'll happen. That'll happen. What a fair card we just rolled. And the funny part is once you roll the 6, you get to activate twice more, so you have much higher odds of rolling another 6 than just going forever until your opponent's dead. The only really bad roll, I think, is a 3. You just never want to hit 3. Yeah, let's Dak.
They'll never know.
We might be giving up on channel here. We'll see. Dak is good with currency converter. We got a fetch here. We got a couple fetches. Could take bone shards. Okay, this is a card that I don't understand why this card's in the thing. Baleful Strix. I love Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix is so good. They should make more Baleful Strix-esque cards. Just little dinky guys. It's got an artifact too. It's a lot. Like, I don't really understand why this Tarmogoyf at home is in here. Like, I get that he's for, like, mill and stuff, but is this card, like, actually... Like, it costs so much to put into play. It's already 2 mana, and you have to discard a sack of remnant, and then he's, like... Is a Tarmogoyf? I don't know. Feels so mid to me. Could take Force. I think I want to fetch, though. I think I want to red fetch. Let's take Bloodstone Mirror. It's hard to go wrong with fetches. Especially early on in the draft. There's lots of powerful stuff to do. You just gotta have the mana to do it. Consult the star chart. Similarly here, there's a Scalding Tarn. I think we're just gonna take that. Goes good with my Dak. We could do some Jeskai stuff here. Life Death. I feel like we passed another good reanimate card. We didn't pass animated. I would have looked at that more, I think. But you know, Scalding Tarn looks good. Still nothing good to channel out. This channel's looking like a bit of a dud right now. Unless we can find something meaningful to bring out. The awkward part about channel being double green is that you have to play base green to do it, but also you want to have big like artifacts to bring out. So it's a weird one for sure. Actually worked out kind of well. Obviously an accident because they didn't plan any of that. Ooh, Plateau. We got Fleam here. Any Fleam fans in the chat? This little guy. Only available on Magic Arena. Is Third Past Iconoclast what this deck wants to do? Kind of feels like that's what this archetype's aiming towards, right? Hi, random question. Would you play One Piece TCG? I've been enjoying it a lot. Doesn't have an official online app. That's the thing that always gets me. It's why I always talk about the ones with online apps, because getting into card games is the hardest part, in my opinion. So if you have an online way to get in, it's like significantly easier. Just take Colonnade here. Or Championing. I'll take Colonnade. So I would get into One Piece in paper if I had people I knew who played it. It's something I've looked into. I wouldn't mind playing it. I've heard it's good. By the way, your take on cubes. Do you think Construct a Cube is better than a regular one? A set card pool pre-built decks. Oh, like where you just get to pick from a bunch of different versions of decks? Flight looks good. I think it depends what you like. They both have their upsides and downsides. Would you play Lorcana / Flesh and Blood? I do want to play Lorcana / Flesh and Blood. Like I said, it's always a matter of like time and having a physical version of the game to play rather than the digital version, making it harder for me. I definitely want to see that stuff though, obviously. I mean, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I don't really know what Goblin Bombardment does, but take Xander's Lounge. Galblast, I suppose, or Nettle Assist. We can Nettle Assist. We'll see if there's an artifact deck that can come around. Take a Skyclave. When like cubes have pools of cards and you only use those to build the decks. To my understanding, that's what cube is a pool of cards that you pick from to build a deck. Or do you mean like a draft version of a cube and then like a cube where you just kind of like do a pick, like mass pick kind of thing? A little confused about what you're meaning. It's probably on me. Delta. No red cards in this pack. No white cards leave to be desired. Grizzlebrand, Monk's Opal. I guess I just take the Delta. Not exactly what I want to be, but. Which one of the big games has the best digital client, in my opinion? Oh, it's got to be Pokemon TCG Live. Like, it just gives you almost everything you could possibly want for almost completely free. You can still pay to get more stuff, but because they give you all the best decks for totally free, there's almost nothing I'm ever feeling like I'm missing. It does take a while to build up your collection, but, like, I think it's admirable that they don't put any way to put money into the game. Have you tried other ways of drafting than passing around boosters? Oh, definitely. I've tried, there's pile drafts and stuff that I've done before where you like pile the cards in one group and then everyone like looks at them and picks from a pile that they want to keep cards from. There's also different ways to do it. Sunray Titan is the first thing I've seen that actually works with the channel. But I feel like our deck's kind of past that point now. Don't really know what direction my deck's going. I could take Wheel and see if I get any of the denial effects. That or Gold Span. I don't really know what my deck is doing, to be honest, but yeah, I would definitely play, like, if there was an online client for other card games that was as well made as the ones for the big three, I would definitely play them a lot more. I mean, I feel like that's everyone would play them a lot more, to be honest. I feel like that's kind of the thing that keeps them on top, at least at the moment. And then when it's bad, I like pointing it out for said reasons. Altitude looks great here. We're just like a kind of blue white red like control kind of thing. I'm just missing counter spells. Bidding draft is interesting but hard to organize. I've done bidding drafts before. I like bidding draft a lot, but it takes forever, which is the biggest thing. Like you have to spend so long doing the actual bidding draft part. Balance is awesome. This is exactly the kind of deck I want to balance in, I think. Drop my DAC or my Flage or my Comet and then balance to get rid of everything. You're given a list of cards you're allowed to use in deck building. Not drafting. Oh, I see. Okay. Tally? It's kind of pricey. Take a Git Probe for filler. Otawara, like... it's kind of just want, like, more removal. Guess I take Git Probe. A list of cards you're allowed to use when building decks and not drafting, but you have as much as you want. So that's just deck building with different card lists, though, which is basically just what a format is. But, like, smaller, basically. Like, self-curated. I think that's fine, too. You can do that. It's harder to get people to agree to deck build, like, without a drafting element, though, because then there's a lot more decision-making that has to be given to the player, so it's harder to enable. I'd love to hear more about different drafting styles because I'm trying to figure out which would be the most fun for the cube I'm building. Yeah, there's a lot. You can try out lots of stuff. There's lots of websites and stuff that have different versions of cube decks and also different versions of drafting options. I know a more experienced player would definitely know more about this than I do because I know some about this, but not tons. About specifically different ways to draft and cube and stuff, but there's lots of cool options for sure. Stoneforge Mystic? But Nettlecyst I don't really want to play. That's a healing. You can see. Maybe we'll get a battle score or something. Here, I can take Thieving Skydiver. I like Elegant Parlor a lot. But I already have a Plateau. I think Skydiver is quite good. How good is drafting in every card game? I wish I would do that video, but Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have anything close to draft, so it makes it difficult. Curiosity, Bauble. You think Bauble? I do kind of want some Dinka now that I have Bauble and Git Probe. Oh, Halifax good. Doesn't get fetched by Bloodsaymire, but that's okay. Get lost, turn. I've heard some good things about Pick 2 Draft, but I haven't tried it myself. I did play it once. I think it's definitely brought down on Arena because of the fact that it's attached to Spider-Man, which sucks. But Pick 2 Draft is good. It's easy. I like the fact that you can do it with 4 players, so you can make your commander pod do it for pretty easy. Oh, finally. I finally got a piece of power. It took long enough, and it's Mox Pearl is actually quite good for this deck, too. Yeah, that's a nice pickup. We finally got a piece of power. It's weird to me that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have draft because I would think it would be well curated draft where I could solve all the problems that maybe bounce off the game. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think they could do drafts. I remember when I tried, they had pre-releases for new Yu-Gi-Oh sets and stuff back in the day, and I tried doing like draft or sealed sort of formats and things, and it worked okay. But it's like a little bit awkward in Yu-Gi-Oh's case to make it work in a good way because of the way that Yu-Gi-Oh is built around archetypes and stuff. It's hard to you either have the archetype in your deck works or you don't have the archetype in your deck doesn't work. So it's like kind of awkward. Create tokens. Do I do that? Comet. Staff of the Storyteller is like fine here. Or Braid's fine here. Nia's really bad even though she's in my specific colors. Oh, I have a Hull Breacher. I have a wheel. We can do that. Sure. Caracas? Pyroglyph? It's got to be Caracas. I don't have anything great to pick up, but I can bounce important stuff. Still looking for something to set up Stoneforge Mystic. Lightning Helix. Rangorn Triumph gives me all my colors from all of my fetches. Sure. It's better than Bone Crusher, probably. Stick's not looking the best, to be honest. Could you tell a few drafting styles names so I could do research on them? I really don't know the different terms that are being used. Yeah, that was a tough one for me because I don't know the names either. I just did them. Like I never asked about specific terminology. I was just shown by other players. But I know there's pile drafts. There's auction drafts. There's sealed. There's regular drafts. Like traditional 8-player drafting kind of things. There's some other kinds too. There's websites about it. You're taking the Bone Crusher. I don't know. Rangorn Triumph was pretty good here. Just does everything I needed to. It means I can cut the Sounders Lounge too. Could take a Sophie. Don't have a ton of stuff to put it on, but it goes on Stoneforge Mystic. It's that or another land. I don't want more lands. Tezzeret doesn't do anything special. Unless I want to splash green for Omnath, but I don't have anything to do that with. A little bit low on playables, but we can make it work. Ooh, a Johnny. A Johnny is awesome here. Love a Johnny. Would have pretty happily taken the counterspell as well. But
our axes strike as one.
why did that take so long to have him say the thing? Alright, whatever. This card's just unbelievably good. Like, they put so much extra text on this 2-mana 3/3. Let's see. Oust. Legion Extruder? Legion Extruder's not bad. Oust is also pretty good, though. Sure. Yeah, I would say go to the Cube subreddit. They definitely got a lot of resources about things. That makes a lot of sense to me. I know they have websites and stuff too where you can upload your cubes and stuff. You could probably look there for people doing that kind of thing. But I find Reddits and Discords are usually the place you want to go look to talk to people. Oh my god. Pack 3, pick 8, the Batter Skull. It's like the last possible spot I could possibly get this card for my Stoneforge Mystic. That's unbelievably nice. This is my opening pack. Guide of Souls. Nova Hellkite. I could take Beza. Beza's fine. Staff of the Storyteller came back. I still don't want Nia, I think. It's a 2-1 that draws a card unless it dies. Transforms into a 4/4 with no text. You know, take the staff. Yara Oshki. Or Blade Slicer. Blade Slicer's not bad. It's 2 bodies. Got equipment and stuff. I remember when I drafted a Johnny and also Pride in MH3. Yeah, no, that seems pretty good. Oh, Bone Crusher came back. Sure. Inspire Advantage. Damn, our deck has a lot of lands. Our mana's gonna be great. Tithe. You want a Tithe? I don't think Tithe's very good. It's funny, but I don't think it's very good. Leading Shooter came back too. Okay. We got some stuff here. This deck actually ended up working out better than I thought it would, to be honest. So we can cut a plane, because we have a thing. For sure. Okay, Batterskull, Comet. I want the sword to have a second target. Do I want to do Wheel and Hull Reacher, or do I want to cut the Wheel? Because Wheel's really only good if I have that guy. Maybe I cut the Wheel. It's nice if I have Hull Breacher, but if I don't have Hull Breacher, it's like just completely useless. Can I only officially do any Yu-Gi-Oh drafts with our many community tools and Discords? Yeah, there's lots of ways you can do it. I do think a cube goes hard for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like cube, when you can curate specifically what the cards are, would be incredible. But if you can't, like specifically curate what you exactly want or need, it seems a lot more awkward. How many artifacts do I have in my deck? 7? And I have other ways of making them too. Maybe it is a Nettlesis deck. Maybe I cut the Thrill of Discovery because I'm always discarding 2 cards of this. I have like no basics. Yeah, Nettlesis should be okay actually, when I think about it. I got lots of ways to make little token guys. Alright, this deck's interesting for sure. I don't know if it's actually very good, but it looks neat, so excited to give it a try. This is the thing about Cube. Last time I had a super powerful like Reanimator style deck that's pretty standard for what you'd expect to see in powerful cubes, and now I have some pile of like artifacty, mid-rangey, control-y kind of stuff. Pre-Fire Cube. Pre-Fire Cube, that sounds interesting. That sounds like a good time if you ask me. Pre all the fire design stuff. Give him a hello. Oh, turn 1 Soul Ring. Another card I haven't seen yet. Soul Ring is obviously very good. Let's see how dunk I get. Okay, a frog. That's it. Can handle that. Let's play a Johnny, I think. And then I can threaten to block. The Froge. Popping in the stream, say I love vids. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the support. I'm always thankful to have people enjoying my videos. That's the point, so I'm glad. Thanks for stopping by. I've heard a lot of people enjoy my vids. It's always surprising to me how I ended up here, but I'm happy to keep riding. Hopefully I keep the content coming, find more things to make about. I do wonder if I could do other card game adjacent things as well, like video games and stuff, and if people would still find that interesting, talking about that kind of design. I know there's lots of channels that do that as well. Okay, easiest block of my life. Path. Oh, he's gonna win now. Oh, very cute. So Johnny doesn't flip. So now he's lost. He played Soaring on turn 1. He has just played a bunch of cards that don't work with Soaring. Use this grab. Batter Skull, I think. Yeah, blocks the frog pretty good. By the way, are you doing YouTube full-time? No, I definitely don't make enough off my videos to go full-time. If I was going to do full-time, I would need to set up a lot more money off Patreon or something along those lines. Put frog in the yard? Okay. I think I play comment. Would like to do full-time. That's the goal, but right now I still gotta do work and stuff, which makes it harder to work on videos, obviously, but we'll get there eventually, I hope. Confidence. I wish there was a popular format pre-Fire, pre-University Beyond constructed. You could probably find. I'd be surprised if there was nothing like that. I'm sure there is something along those lines. May as well not try to pigeonhole yourself. Pre-Fire is retro modern, like, yeah, 2016. MTGA new, yeah. So pre like Pioneer, pre-Fire design, like anything before my cutoff is usually like Khaled-ish, I would imagine. Around that era is when things started getting really powerful, and then Universe Beyond started coming in 2019-ish. So before all of that, I'd suppose. All right, this is gonna be quite nice. I really want to see what this guy's up to. Show and Tell, Triplicate Titan, Sneak Attack. Huh. Scary. Yeah, I don't know. I could get some more audience support, I suppose. I need to do a better job networking and setting up all that stuff. It's hard when you're working full-time and then also you have the YouTube on the side to have time to set up those things along with the research and the video making and all the real-life stuff, but I'm trying my best, and having everyone here to support me helps immensely. You have no idea. I guess I'll just put this guy down. Just have him. That is a really good draw. So now I can exile the Triplicate Titan when he tries to put it in. What do you do as your main job? Oh, I work in the kitchen. I think everybody has their dog that has their idea. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, when you have wizards or whatever making a decision about something, it's easy for everyone to come to a consensus about how things are, but without some large authority doing it, it's hard to convince anyone outside of your immediate group. Unless the format's like incredible or something, but that's rare. I like your videos not for the clickbait title question than answer, but rather for the overall card game theory and discussion. I feel like that's most, like, that's what I'm trying to do, basically. I'm not trying to clickbait anyone with the title and thumbnail. I'm just trying to make a title and thumbnail that I think is interesting enough for people to want to click on it, and then the video itself proper is the discussion, the actual interesting stuff. Of course. Because, like, you want something that people want to look at and have, like, an instinct to click on, but you also want to have, like, a video that does, you know, good. I'm cooking both IRL and in YouTube all the time. Too much. Too much? Somebody, don't let him cook too much. I can't keep this hand still. Sure. The Pirates will. I don't want to get wastelanded. That's why HTC Discord exists. Yes. For options for this kind of thing. Not distinctly because the YouTube meta. Yeah, you do have to play a bit by the YouTube meta. I don't play it the best, to be honest. There's a lot more I could do, but I do what I got to. Skyclave discard here? I think so. Small amount of people come for the answer. Yeah, that's true. I never understand the people who comment. They get to the comment and they're like, okay, I haven't watched the video yet. And I'm like, then why are you leaving a comment if you haven't watched the video yet? Isn't that like kind of the point? Funny to me. Just get some pressure down. Although I was very happy with the comments I got on my most recent video about, like, I felt like the video was really quite negative and I was coming off complaining about a lot of stuff, and a lot of people were really, like, rather than being negative about that, they were positive about the things that they felt like I had missed, which I was pretty happy with. I thought a lot of people would just want to dogpile on, but the fact that people were happy about it was nice. I'll play just Biza here? I guess I just Biza here, huh? Let's hit him first. Get my free card. 4 mana, 4/5 draw a card. Still good. Turns out. The most pushed Azure Drake. Wow. Yeah, lots of different ways to play games. Lots of different ways to complain about stuff, for sure. But I think that, I mean, that's just it's part of what makes card games so good, is how flexible and how many options you have. That's why it worries me that they're going in the direction of less game and more collectible, because there's really, like, when I talk about Magic to someone, or I talk about Yu-Gi or whatever, I can talk about their favorite format, I can talk about what they like about the game, I can talk about, like, what their favorite deck is, all this stuff. But talking collectibles with someone, there's a lot less room for that kind of thing, in my opinion, at least. I think I just sacked the bubble again here. Just taking a look here. I got a sub to the Patreon because I owe you all the inspiration you gave me for my own designs. Oh, maybe I'll set it up eventually. I don't have any tiers or anything set up, but I do want to get it set up so that way I can have people subscribe for perks and things. It's hard for me to do that kind of stuff. I thought about doing the YouTube memberships and things and setting it up on the YouTube side, but that also seemed like quite the hassle in terms of, like, how to reward people without, like, using badges or whatever. And badges are fine and all, but because I only stream somewhat frequently and most people watch my YouTube content to, like, watch the YouTube part, makes it a bit harder. Okay, we're just gonna play Blade Placer on 3 here, I think. I just recently made a match of full power EG2 tier limit. Guess how long the game was? Probably a really long time. That was a good mirror from what I remember, but lasts forever. Play a 50-minute match or something. Okay, I got JVP. Just want to get Dak down. So. Actually, I should probably do this. Just don't let him have the loot. I don't know if he's reanimated or not or something, so. If you would like to get a card similar to MTG Champions like Snapcaster, what would you like yours to do? Oh, you mean like he's forcing the. Alright, bro. Is Solitude him back? What do you exile? Sync? Guess so. 3 hours for 3 games. Oh my god, like an hour each game. Jesus. That's insane. The longest games of all time. Tier limit is where Yu-Gi-Oh! Peaked. Every instance has been playing the same, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, they pushed it too far, if you ask me. Tier limits was too good, and then from that point on, they had to dial it back, because obviously that was too good compared to everything else beforehand, so it caused its issues. He's only a bleak. And he's got reanimate, because this is why. Okay, so he's... Oh. Huh. He's gonna crab me. So I still just want to jump back then. Because the Stoneforge would be much less bad to exile off the thing. Game 3 for an hour and 20. Jesus. I wonder what kind of card, if I were to get a championship card, I would have to think about it a lot. There's a lot of interesting options, for sure. I don't know exactly what I would like. He's grabbing me. Don't get the balance. Yeah, those are all okay. It's been surprisingly well for me, I think. Solitude, of course. I think I want to draw a land. Stoneforge or Batterskull? Maybe balance and put the Batterskull out of my hand? Because he just reanimates if I do it like this. So I have to go here. Wish there was some more TCG video games that you build your deck the way Pokemon TCG. Oh, there was Chandelar. Have you heard of Chandelar from Magic? The very old version of what you're talking about. I do wish there were more things like that, though. Those are always cool. Yeah. I think I know what I want to end up with here. I want to use this. Oh, thanks for subscribing to the Patreon. I appreciate it. Helps me go full time and do this for a living. So. What is your favorite? What is your primary TCG? Magic? Yeah, I mostly play Magic. That's my main one most of the time. But I have had a main. I've switched over time. You know, I played all of them, depending on what's good and what's bad. You know, changes what you want. Do this. Could have gone to 1 and done the Stoneforge. I just want to get this reanimate out of his hand, but there's no easy way to do it. Okay, so here goes one thing. Okay, this might work out for me. The tar pit is certainly an issue, though. That is an awesome draw. Yeah, that's basically perfect. Trying to get into MTG this winter. I spent 3 months playing retro Yu-Gi-Oh! League and now need a break. Yep. That's why I like all these different card games too. They give you time to take breaks from things and switch up what you want to do. Change the game you're playing, change the format, change different things. I do find getting into Magic is a little bit tougher than getting into things like Pokemon, but it's pretty doable, especially with Arena and stuff nowadays. Two as well. Nice. Yeah, it's most certainly doable. Gonna try a lot of pre-modern, pre-fire. Yeah, definitely play pre-modern stuff. Pre-modern. You can try some more powerful formats, less powerful formats. There's lots of fun stuff to try in Magic. Oh, this is showing the power of balance. I was losing this game so hard, and balance just completely crushed this guy. With Flage rounding it out here. Yeah. I would highly recommend trying all the big ones, even Yu-Gi-Oh! Even if it's really hard to get into. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like kind of the end-all be-all, I think, for card games. There's further to go than Yu-Gi-Oh! There's much harder things than that, obviously, but at some point you gotta say, this is hard enough for me. Nice. I feel like I play the game pretty well. Me and my friends use cockatrice. Oh my god, I remember cockatrice. Going from Yu-Gi-Oh! To MTG mana-based game is very hard. Yes. Well, I think Magic is a lot easier to wrap your head around because you have a lot more time Magic to like learn how things are. You're not just going all the time. There's a lot more time to like slowly develop and build up a board state. Probably feels a bit more like old Yu-Gi-Oh! Like GOAT format stuff if you're familiar with it. Yeah, but cockatrice is an old one. I used to use cockatrice all the time, but because I never wanted to get a Moto account for Magic Online, so use a lot of cockatrice. It works good. I'm glad there are free options out there, but what surprises me is like a lot of Magic players know about cockatrice, but don't use it anymore because they have Magic Online and Magic Arena now to play. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Still has like, I still use Dueling Book. You know, even though Master Duel is here, I would still rather play on a different thing because it just doesn't cost so much. What's your take on cockatrice? I think it's great to have. I think it's like, obviously because it's free, it's kind of shit, but you know, I'm glad that there are options for people like that. Like, you should have an option to have something easy for you to use online for free, I think. There should be this digital version where you have like the online matchmaking and all the like nice helpful hands and all this stuff and the pretty art and things, but in terms of having something online for people to use, I think cockatrice is awesome. The biggest reason I don't want to play pre-modern is the art. 2008 to 2018 Magic, it's so beautiful, and not having it is a bummer. Big agree. Big agree. I love Magic art. I'm sad. I mean, you can still feel some of it in some of the University on cards, but there's something about the way cards were made. You can tell Magic has their different like eras and stuff of like the way the art styles were. And now that they've changed a lot of the art style, a lot of people I think are missing that kind of thing. The ways that the art styles are. I have a lot of hands with this bauble in it, but I don't mind. Crack it right away. Nice draw on the late game to have options. Wasteland. And I can't fetch a basic? I guess I just don't crack it then, huh? Oh, unless he plays an elf, then I think I have to. Utopia's Brawl is fine. Well, it's not fine, but I can't do anything about it, so. Definitely glad the bubble peaked at the Wasteland. Now I know not to try my fetch. Certainly helps out here. OG Theros feels like peak Magic art to me. OG Theros does have some good art. I'm a bigger fan of the older, a little bit older than that, like Innistrad stuff, but I have a soft spot for old cons. Okay. Lots of choices here, huh? Could play Skyclave on the fast wand. Could play Stoneforge to start putting out pressure. I think I want to Skyclave the fast wand though. Oh, I do have a basic island. Do I still need to get Hall of Fun? The worst part about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just how tiring it is to play. You need to be constantly on edge to follow what your opponent is doing and not miss their choke point. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, you immediately start playing right away, which has its benefits. People like that, but it also is definitely extremely tiring. You're just go constantly. Is MTGA being hard with executing a win con with a non-combo deck? It can be. Yeah, it depends on where your deck is and how many options you have. Like, mono red is definitely a lot more simple, but there are certainly convoluted and complicated decks. So we left up all my stuff. I'm definitely happy about that. This is the spot for the Nelsis, I think. Question: can the art of the magic use AI? Because I feel like the art feels homogenous nowadays. It could have. I mean, we have no way of knowing, but they usually credit the artists that they use. They're much better at crediting the artists nowadays, so I don't think they have any AI usage of that sort. I hope not. They've gone through so much work to make a distinct art style that is cool and people will appreciate. If they started removing that, I'd be definitely a sad camper. Got the Ponza going on. One card trading doesn't be really tiring if you know many people wanted Rush Duel. Yeah, definitely. Everyone always asks for Rush Duel. Where's the Rush Duel? This. Grab Plateau or Island. I think I want Island for deck. I want Plateau because you can destroy this thing. And I want to just activate Stoneforge, I think. Pre-modern Splinter Twin. Yeah. Gotta go have a nice one. Ah, thanks. Hate you with my own game, so I would love to show it to you. Yeah, you can send it to my email. I have an email if you want to send me any of your card game things. I'd be happy to look. I always am. Just use Stoneforge here. Officially, they don't use it once. He's been caught using it more than a couple times. So I'm surprised we have more AI. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they're not sneaking AI into their stuff. They did use it in some advertising and stuff. I know they want to. All the companies want to. It's free money for them. Oof, okay. Tiger Hoof. Am I dead? Down. I think I'm dead, right? Exact same dead. Awkward. And I just drew hit after hit after hit. Unlucky. Did I have fun this match? Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, a lot of the art could be done by AI by Magic, but I'm sure a lot of artists want to be a part of Magic, so I'd be surprised if they let that happen. But if you ask me, like, these things could happen. I wouldn't be shocked if we see it later, especially for the sets that they care less about. You chose the not fun option. That's true. There is no like I had a mediocre time this match option. I guess that's the skip button, maybe. I don't know. That thing always gets yes to me. Is like how often are you gonna click the button there and have say you're having a good time or not having a good time? It doesn't really speak to me. I feel like modern Yu-Gi-Oh just tests memory of players, not really the skills. Maybe sometimes, but it's just YouTube commentators from what I've seen. Yeah, that definitely feels like part of it to me as well. Okay, he's a rampy reanimator kind of guy. I just crack this thing. Retro Yu-Gi-Oh is where it's at. I agree. I love Retro Yu-Gi-Oh. Wish they did more with Time Wizard. Since Magic contacts eternal artists, they can't really be sure those artists who use AI will get some money out of WotC. Yeah, that's true. It's harder to check the artists for that kind of stuff too, but like... this is the whole AI thing where it's like, once it's hard enough to detect, you really can't do anything about it, so it's just an ongoing issue that you're going to have to try to address when it comes up. Some power cards aside, Retro Yu is more enjoyable. I feel like that's all formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you just take away the cards that are like really way too good, the format's great. It's just everything like one step below the format is always the best thing because it's usually not cleanly designed enough to have not broken things slip through the cracks. Yeah, it happened with some of the D&D stuff too. We know they want to do it. It's obvious. Why wouldn't they? Oh, imagine if this I was on the play. I could just crush them. Yu-Gi-Oh! AI match voiceover was a disaster. Oh, I forgot about that. They had a try to AI voice. The thing is, like, you already have casters. Just make them do it. And even they're gonna do a horrible job because casting Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a fucking nightmare. Like, cause everything is like incomprehensibly difficult to follow because it's so fast. Because you have to be fast to play the combo decks. You're on a time limit. But it's just like, well, maybe AI can do this thing that regular people can only barely do right now. It's like, what? You probably should, try to pay people to do the work rather than, just trust that AI can do it. I don't know. Seems a little insane to me. Oh, I get to steal something. Oh, this is sweet. I'm gonna actually get to use the Thieving Skydiver for the intended purpose. Pretty. Now I get the comet. I do comet things. I can rebuy my bubble if I roll poorly. It's going great. I am really worried though. My opponent has a bunch of really powerful cards and probably ways to cheat them out. So it's possible I'm just getting snuck attack here and then I never get to cast any spells ever again. On that smash. Now he has a fetch here, which he probably will. It could be less manageable. I know he had a fetch. Shizu tier limit is the most skillful modern Yu-Gi-Oh format. To be honest, the most skill expression because of the mirror. Yeah, here's the thing. Mirrors can be extremely skill intensive and have a lot of options in them. Card games are neat that way, I think. But I feel like bragging that your mirror is really good isn't the best thing to do because ideally your game doesn't have too many mirrors in the first place. Like ideally. Activate ability. Alright, we got Comet doing Comet things. Yeah. I do think that it's possible to have a one deck format that is really skill testing and fun, but ideally, especially in card games where it's all about creativity and having lots of options, you want that to be like a main thing that people look and go, wow, you can play Magic. There's so many different options for decks to play and stuff. Not, oh, you can play Magic. It's got a really, really complicated mirror with specific cards that you have to buy that cost $1 million. Like, you know you play chess, right? Does he? Did he keep the Woodfall premise? He did. Comment no. 25 Woodfall premise is going to be pretty tough. That's okay. Kind of just getting crushed by Almath here. Oh, out of characters. Long time no see. Hello. I'm doing fantastic. Just big chillin', playing some Magic Vintage Cube. It's been a while since I've played a lot of Arena, but this new game has got me interested, even though it costs money when it probably shouldn't. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, although I'm probably losing this game. I'm not going great. My opponent's got a pretty powerful deck, and I have a slow start. Out of characters also based, yes. Out of characters makes much better videos than I do, in my opinion, but just about Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, stop by. My knowledge from Yu-Gi-Oh! Is when I got the Nintendo DS. I saw something like the newest format. My mind shut down. Like, you need to remember every archetype. Yeah, there's a lot more to remember in the modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, that's for sure. That's for sure. Can't rebuff him. I think the skill tier format was exaggerated. It's difficult than most players to know what's happening. That's true, but I think most of the best players think it was pretty skill testing, so that's usually the sign for me. If the really good people think it's like that, then it probably is. Okay, Jaluchi cast. That's not bad. I think I did a 1 hour stream second together with Soto and laddering a few months back. Yeah, that's true. We did a 1 month laddering when I was trying to get to the top rank in all the card games. That was a good time. It was certainly difficult though. It was not free. I appreciate your help, though. Maybe you can do more collab-y video stuff things later. It's something I want to get around to, collabing with other content creators and stuff, but it's hard with scheduling and work and all that jazz. Maybe if you're interested, though, we could set something up. He can redraw, but he can't recast it. That's some help. Collabs are tough with scripted content. That's also true. Maybe we'll look into some podcast things. I know there's Magic content creators, Trinket Mage and Snail and 33 Alk. They have a podcast thing where they have guests on and stuff. I feel like for video talky style content creators, podcasts are usually where they find their best home. So we could see something like that. Have you ever looked into a living card game? Oh, I have seen those living card game style kind of things. I think they're interesting, but it's different. YouTube has co-uploading a thing. Oh, I have seen videos like that. I wonder how they do in the system, because I know it's weird and different having like a dual upload sort of thing going on. I haven't seen a few videos from people like that where they have like a co-upload thing. if I just went to draw. Because I need the Hull Breacher. Nettles is pretty good too. I don't think it's supposed to revenue, but it puts the video over both creator in the algorithm. So it's literally just for real estate. Like it gives you both equal money. I mean, that sounds pretty sick.
I hate to fight, but I love to win. I'm a talented improviser.
Don't want Krakus? I don't think I need it. Can bounce Bisa back a lot. It kills Uro forever. That's probably good. No, one person gets all the money. Oh, okay. So it's not just for real estate. That's what I kind of figured. I figured one person would get all the money for it, so it's only really good for half of the crew. I don't want to tap Krakus here, so I just pass. Now he's got too many good targets for Woodfall, so this kind of works out. I think I see Dak in every cube. Yeah, Dak is just so good. There's so many good artifacts. Being able to steal one is something you almost always want. I really wish I could have kept the Hull Breacher. If I had just been able to Hull Breacher Dak him, he'd be screwed. He wouldn't be able to Woodfall. Okay, he reaches the arrow back. He only has 7 mana now. So he can't play Woodfall. And if he plays Euro, it's fine. Still a little bit lost about how I'm winning this. Remembering all the knowledge of the prereq of the past tier 0. Yeah. It's a lot of risk analysis, but that's a lot of what Yu-Gi-Oh is that risk analysis, like looking at what you can and can't do. Get third tips. The best Yu-Gi-Oh format is subjective. I may enjoy tier mirrors, but also may enjoy many different... Yeah, there's lots of different... It's obviously very subjective. Like, there's lots of different formats that have lots of different benefits and downsides, depending on what kind of player you are. So to say that one thing is objectively the best is obviously impossible, I think.
Information's almost as good as money.
Definitely don't want balance here. Thing. I never played tier in paper, and I really wish I did. Didn't have the money for it at the time. Yeah, me too. Pretty sure a lot of people didn't have the money for it at the time. That's always been my biggest sticking point for Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a lot better nowadays, though, that's for sure. The fair Dark Depths is coming. It was fun playing tier IRL, but it's very taxing using the entire playmat for chain links. Yeah. You have the massive... That'll roll out the whole mat. What is he possibly getting with Biscuiter here? Time Walk? See, these are the matches of Magic that I live for. The game is so deep. There's so much stuff going on. The board is getting big, but there's lots of like back and forth options. This is the kind of cool stuff. This is kind of happens in Yu-Gi-Oh, but not quite the same way. There's a lot more like risk of dying, whereas here, like you're kind of one person's usually on the back foot, and one person's usually on the front foot in terms of the thing. So that whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh, like even if you're on the back foot, one draw can get you out of the whole thing, which is kind of core to the design, but. My favorite part of card games is deck building. I really hate trying to make a deck as a new player in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, that's definitely true. Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building is something else entirely. It's actually really interesting and deep, but like for a new player, if you're trying to build a deck, it's a little bit like trying to go into chess and develop a new strategy. I think I have the screenshot of pack playing tier. Your most damage to Yu-Gi-Oh! Reputation. Yeah. There's a lot of things that have done a lot of damage to Yu-Gi-Oh! Reputation, I'll tell you what. Okay, he got Flash. I'm gonna flash in the Primus. Okay. What's he hitting though? Batter's go, huh? Destroys Dak, that's fine. I don't really care about Dak at this point. Gotta go to keep with the videos. Oh, thanks. Thanks for stopping by. I'm happy to see all these people hanging out in the stream as always. Your support helps me keep doing what I want to do, so it's always appreciated. Here I'm gonna get to pick up the Batter Skull, which is quite nice. So he can still do the Uro stuff. I get to keep my Batter Skull, and I get to keep my Nettle Cyst as well.
Run.
Yeah, this worked out pretty good for me, I think. And now the Woodfall Primus is out of the way, and I still have my sword. So I think I'm about to start winning the game from this point on. I'm gonna overwhelm him. He doesn't have enough time to power out Dark Depths. Is neck decking common in Magic for new players? The best advice I ever got in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was to not build my own deck until I understood the basics of the game. So yeah, net decking is also common for Magic, but compared to Yu-Gi-Oh, I think that in general what they do is they like give you can go from the starter deck and it's not that far of a walk to a competitive deck, whereas for Yu-Gi-Oh, any starter product is pretty far away from the end game levels of decks kind of thing. Please attack with that, yes. Excellent. So yeah, kill this, I start getting in. Don't really need staff for the storyteller, that's fine. Bronze Arrow, lost the Primus. Stick. I'm gonna play down Bone Crusher. I'll never net deck. It's getting rid of the fun for me. Yeah, if you're the kind of person who likes winning, deck decking is good. But if you're the kind of person who would much prefer to, you know, figure it out on your own, deck decking is like literally antithetical to what you want to do. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! In the more casual formats has fun things to do in terms of that, but in the competitive games, you got a net deck to be able to do anything and then move from there, basically. I just want to say I appreciate your video series on game design and the difference between card games. It's helpful for someone who is into game design. Yes, that's my core audience, people who like game design or thinking about card games in that kind of sense. There's a lot of people and a lot of different groups of people who think about card games in that way, so I hope my video can appeal to many different types of people. I'm surprised how many card game designers are out there, though. I'm like, I see lots of card games coming out, but I didn't realize how many of them would find their way to my video and be like, ooh, this is really interesting to me when I'm making my game. I thought it would be a lot more people like, oh, I've been playing card games for a long time and I enjoy thinking about them, not the other way around. But hey, if I can help make better design, then I would love that. Maybe that's a bit of the way I started my original video, talking about how like design mistakes going on with like Nadu and stuff and tier elements and things like are something that should be looked at and studied, and you can compare them pretty easily the way different games are made. I never read books written by other people. It takes all the fun out of writing. I mean, hey, if you want to learn how to write on your own, you got to do somehow. This guy's stuck with me. I feel like he's just listening. Oh. Okay. See where this goes, I suppose. I have a twister with what? 3 mana up? I have 7 cards in deck after this. All my permanents are just in play. I decided to make a card game, and I went deep on all kinds of content about game design. A lot of it was really helpful. I saw GDC talk about curse design problems. That was really helpful. I do like that talk a lot. I remember seeing that. It's an interesting thing to look at from different game design perspectives, like how curse problems are just present in games, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to find a lot of workarounds in terms of the initial planning parts of your game. Like, it's hard to know and see these issues coming up when you're making a game because you don't know where you're going to end up at the end, but that kind of stuff will happen all the time, basically, where you're like, oh, I didn't think this would be an issue, but now it is, and now I have no way of meaningfully dealing with it in my game. You got a shell dog. Your videos are really nice for understanding the differences in TCGs. I like how design affects the strength of cards / mechanics. Yeah, that's definitely something that's very interesting to me. Probably why my first video video, because that's the biggest difference is the way card draw is treated, but there's a lot of differences in the ways that the things are designed that inform a lot of the way the game is just by the way the game started. It's easiest to see in games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Magic because of how far they've come and how they had to address the issues. Going into older games would probably be beneficial to look at that kind of thing, but it's a lot harder to look at those older games because a lot of them don't exist anymore, so getting good info on them is tougher. Especially because generally when a game dies, there's a lot of stuff you can point to for a reason as to why it happened. So if you're looking at like Redikai, for example, was a game that I remember playing when I was younger and that died off relatively quick, and that I hear talked about quite a bit by I forgot the name of his channel now. I just mentioned it earlier in the stream. It's Kodak talking about Redikai. I remember people thinking it was going to be like, oh, this is so futuristic, the plastic card design and stuff, and then it just completely died, and it's interesting to look at reasons why that might be, but it feels kind of hard to do that for me if I haven't played the game personally or looked at it in its era, because it's a little bit kicking down feeling to me. Reanimator. And I don't want to kick down. 30-euro plus card games have so much good content for figuring out problems. Definitely. There's a lot to be delved into there, but I would feel kind of bad about it. I don't know. I ever played that died was the WoW TCG. They dropped it because they started making Hearthstone. See, that's like a happy reason to drop your card game, but most of the reasons are not that happy. Obviously. Let's see what's going on beside the Imperial rates here. Grief, Recall, Wheel, Torsten. Jesus Christ. The guy just took like all the good cards, huh? I love your videos because learning about Yu-Gi-Oh gave me the same sick thrill I get watching hoarders. Like, damn bitch, you live with this. That's true. This is how I feel all the time when I watch Yu-Gi-Oh players from being my main game being Magic. Like, I know about Yu-Gi-Oh and I play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I mostly play Magic and Hearthstone and stuff. So when I look at Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm like, damn, this is just what you guys. This is just what your game is always like, huh? But it's their game, and there's a reason it's still around. They love it for that reason. They've called out all the people who can't handle tier 0 forehands. I hope. I miss Artifact every day. Oh, are you a big Artifact fan? I definitely know. I have a good feeling I know why Artifact didn't make it. You would think they had the deck stacked so much in its favor thanks to Valve being the developers, but just because you're a good dev doesn't mean your game is automatically going to succeed. You still have to make a good game. Have you tried any of the banded TGs with One Piece? I want to try One Piece. I haven't tried One Piece yet, but it's on the list. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I just want to skyclave the pedal here? That's probably good. MTG is doing really well at the moment because a lot of people are leaving because of the Universe Beyond. Yeah, doing well. It depends on what you mean. Like financially, they're doing well because they're doing a lot of crossovers, and crossovers are very obviously a way to make more money. I don't think anyone would disagree that you're going to sell more cards if you sell cards that are from something else, so you get other people coming in. That's pretty obvious, but it's also heavily clashing with the Magic designs, so you can see why a lot of people would not be cool with that. Me included, might I add. I do like Universes Beyond. Like, there's a lot of cool settings and things about it that I enjoy, but I can understand definitely why people don't like it. There's a lot of stuff not to like about it. Richard Garfield has made many card games. Most of them have died. Yeah, he makes tons of games, and a lot of them have a lot of worth. You'd be surprised. Like, Magic is obviously the one that everyone talks about because it's the one that sticks around the longest, but he's got a lot of games that, like Duel Masters and stuff, for example, or Flesh and Blood and things that, like, people really still love, even if they're not as popular as Magic and stuff. So I think there's a reason he's one of the best. Netrunner had the best resources out of any game, but it failed because the setting is kind of meh. I do also think the setting is kind of meh, but I don't think that's the reason it failed. I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of other reasons I would think it would fail. Just Flage here. I did this wrong. I could have forced the trade with Shieldred if I did it second. Crossover is doing very well monetarily, but I don't want to play with Spider-Man and SpongeBob. Yeah, that's most people, I think. Most people don't want to play Spider-Man and SpongeBob, but when you have no choice. Oh, I'm an idiot. I could have easily won this game if I just played this properly, because I needed to kill Shieldred. Now he heals all the way up. Off the wheel. Damn. So I needed to attack first, and then Shieldred would be dead, and then he would still wheel here, but he'd be, like, dying. He's done King of Tokyo, Netrunner. Oh, I do remember King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo is a blast. He also did Artifact. Yeah, like I said, just being the best doesn't mean you're always going to hit. He has as many failures as he does successes, would be my guess, but... He's done more... I can't say he's done more right than wrong, but he's done enough that he's done a bunch of ones right, so... Netrunner was a lot more complex than MTG back in the day, created a lot of another stumbling block. The resource system in Magic is the easy to understand one. Yeah, having things that are easy to understand definitely helps your game a lot. I mean, obviously. I think a lot of the reason it might not have done well, though, is the fact that it's, the fact that Magic is super simple, but the Netrunner added a lot of complexity by having two different sides. Especially for tournaments and stuff, like if you have only one version of a deck that you want to play, or if one side is better. Like, it's hard to do a competitive game where, like, only half the cards are playable by one faction. Seeing Dwight Schrute, I thought, what are you doing, man? What, you don't want to play with Dwight from The Office in Magic the Gathering? Obviously, this is what everyone wants, which is why they made it. This is how modern capitalism is. Doesn't make me want to die at all. Artifact was mostly a marketing problem. Dota fans are so far from the game, it's not even funny. Yeah, that's also true. They could have done the marketing way better. I mean, a lot of people were disappointed when they saw it. It was dead on arrival, though. That's definitely true. I'll just have comp. The worst one. Sucks. Magic was a revolution. I think it's fair to compare it to Artifact. Artifact was just progression on an existing idea. Yeah, of course. It's not really fair to compare most things to Magic. Magic definitely had a lot of benefits going in that most games don't, obviously. Leaves a holding onto the game after the perfect punt. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I can just sack the planes here. The more commander restricts you to colors, play any combination. Yeah. Restrictions do breed creativity. I've heard a lot of talk about that stuff too with the new commander change that they forecasted. They're like, maybe we'll change it to be like this. Maybe we'll have it so that way you can use Hyper Mana and all the things, and a lot of people complaining about it. Is he just gonna dump his whole hand? I guess so. Okay, I'm fine with that. Now I do this. Nice. New commander change is kind of weird. It's an interesting thing. I don't know if it's great for the game. A lot of people certainly complained about it. The rest of the gameplay is very little complaints that I've heard. Valve didn't give any reason to give it a try, despite the fact best DC. I'm sure it was designed really well. The 3-lane thing is also pretty high barrier to entry too, which probably didn't help. Can't believe I won this game. Oh my god. Whew, that was a tough one. You can probably tell by the amount less time I was talking. Should probably try talking more on the stream that I'm doing. But man, that was a tough one. Came out on top though, jeez. Whew. The rest of the game had very little complaints. Yeah. I'm sure it was just complicated systems mixed with the fact that it didn't get advertised enough in the beginning. And also how people wanted, like, it's Valve. They're like a video game designer. People were probably hoping for Half-Life 3 or whatever. And then when it's revealed to be a card game, they're like, not really what I was looking for. Can I get something else? Halo is just Quake, but slower with grenades and dual wielding. Yeah. There's a lot of... I'm a fan of the commander change as a frequent mono deck color. Yeah, it is an interesting thing for mono color deck players. When I first heard of the change, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let them play Hydra card. This is probably how it's supposed to work the whole time. But then they did I watched a lot of videos about it from people like the Trinket Mage, and I watched a MTG Goldfish video about it, and they talked about some really good points about how like it looks like this is a really good idea, but it's actually not, because of like it kind of opens the door to like, okay, well, now do you let Phyrexian mana be played in any color, because you can pay any color for Phyrexian mana? That's kind of weird. There's going to be like generic tutors that are playable with Beseech the Queen kind of stuff. It causes some interesting changes, and it is a concerning change to make, because they're making it... I think I would be less tinfoil hat about it if they weren't going back to Lorwyn right now. They're like, hey, Wizards, we want to print a bunch of really broken commander cards that are hybrid. Would you allow us to do that? And then it was like, oh, well, Hydra doesn't work in commander the way you want it to. But what if it did? And then they just, every time they want to make a change like that, they just like, well, what if it did, though? What if we just did that? I don't see much of changes here. Yeah, I think most of the people complaining about it aren't complaining about the changes that are going to happen because of it now. Like, most of the cards just don't matter. It's just the leeway it both leaves them in the future. Like, later on, they'll be able to print much more broken hybrid cards because they'll have faith that they'll see play in commander, so that way they can make it better, which could be better or worse depending on your perspective of the power creep and stuff. But also people just worrying like, hey man, you're making a change awful close to when you are doing this thing about, you know, having a bunch of hybrid mana symbols in your new set. Is there any reason for that? Reaper King will be able to be played in any deck is weird. Yeah, that kind of stuff is really weird to me too. Like the color identity of like having Reaper King be colorless now, technically. Yeah, Fuchsia could be more effective. That's why people are mostly worried about it, to my understanding. It's less about this one change and more about giving them the option to change and open up more barriers, because that's what this change is in effect. It's you're removing a barrier, which is the fact that they haven't made changes like this before about like what the rules of Commander are. They haven't really done much touching of like what colors you can play what stuff in and that kind of thing. So the fact that they're doing it now was like, what's stopping them from changing Phyrexian mana? What's stopping them changing, you know, other style of cards that are different, like almost the same color? Or what about, you know, changing different aspects of different commanders and stuff? Like there's a lot of room they could move to from that one change. My opponent's just getting fucking crushed here. I guess he's got a Solitude, I guess. It's crazy that Commander player will freak out over hybrid mana, insisting Soaring is fine, and play Risk 6 Risk 6 is such an interesting case. I might make a video just about Risk 6 because the card is one of those cards that was so horrible until Commander came out, and then it was absolutely everywhere, and everyone always talked about, like, is this okay or not okay to have in your game? It's one of those, like, it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Level discussion kind of card. Risk 6 all on its own, which I think is sweet. Time Walk. Remember? Now, this is 2 or 3 to equip. 2, right? Yeah. Risk 6 is super frustrating because the people playing with wrong affects the entire table. And when you get into arguments about what's wrong and right, yeah. It's a bad sphere of resistance. It's better than sphere of resistance. You don't have to pay. But it is, like, specifically to take advantage of people who don't know what they're doing. Which is rough design for sure. I didn't even realize I don't have blue mana this game. It's like totally fine though. Staff of the Storyteller is doing some work here too. Until people play it wrong, and then sometimes you just run away with the game. Yeah, Risk Studies definitely a super interesting card in Commander. I think like it's definitely bad that it's made the way it is. Like they should make it more new player friendly, obviously, but He's an interesting card to have be good in your game, which was never good. Like this is what Commander was to me in my mind. It's like the fact that there are cards that were completely unplayable that became all of a sudden like staples in Commander is really interesting. Just like an colony with him.
I'll be taking that.
I have a lot of problems with EDH, but they never intended it to be a competitive format. Yeah, that's the other thing. They never want it to be super sweaty. Although we're getting closer now with how powerful the cards are. Listen to Siege players talk about Risk that he's like listening to Vietnam vet talk about the war. It's so true. Because that's another multiplayer problem too. Like having a multiplayer game without specific guardrails put in place can have a lot of problems. I can't believe I made it this far with this deck. It's going insanely well. I want one more, maybe. I'm starting the game off multiplayer focused and changes. They're pretty sweeping. A lot of problems with EDH, but they never intended it to be a competitive format. The entire point wasn't to change into politics. Yeah. It was more supposed to be a fun place to play your cards, to my understanding, but EDH wasn't even made by Wizards, so it's kind of hard to decide what was and wasn't intended by them. But there was a topic we were talking about before that I kind of brushed past. Oh yeah, where we were talking about the color changes and that kind of thing. Yeah. It's interesting to see how now the Commander's their biggest format, like what they're going to do to it and try to change or not leave it alone and stuff, because Commander grew organically because it was just a fun way. There were tons of cards printed in the old days of Magic that were just like completely unplayable or like 7-mana do nothings. And the idea that you had a format where you could try to make that work was really interesting to a lot of people. And then it also wrapped in the people who wanted like play more niche strategies or build a theme deck and all this kind of stuff. And then also who wanted to play multiplayer. There were so many. Commander covered so many groups of players all in one fell swoop that it really made it easy to have one massive group of people come together and you can all kind of agree on what you want to do. They were getting frustrated with every card being 4 CMC or less. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like I love the big expensive bombs that were completely unplayable, but then Commander was like the spot for you to do that. It's not super competitive, so you can actually do that kind of thing and play more niche or interesting cards that like may not see play, but it's harder now, especially with the way Standard has been going, where Standard keeps getting more and more pushed, like dying on turn 3 and turn 4 and turn 5. Like originally you could print really bad Mythics into Standard and justify that like you could build a deck around that kind of thing. There was a red 6-mana enchantment called Sunbird something or other that I think was like a good example of that. Didn't draw the Mox in this hand, that's fine. I think it would be a good change overall. Removing commander damage. Commander damage will be fine, I think. I mean, it's definitely a vestige of the way the old commanders used to be, where combat damage mattered like way more. Yeah, I think they could remove commander damage. It would be fine. Only the Vulture commanders would be super affected by it. But I also like there being an incentive to do damage in commander, because the best way to win commander is almost always just to combo your opponent into the sun. So the fact that there's another option, I think, is nice. Let's play this. Remember when Arena had animations that they actually paid for to put into the game? I hope they're not designing MTG Arena Pocket, which is just the same game, but they dumbed the game down for 12-year-olds, and then they make it way easier to play, and you can pay your entire paycheck to play the game. I feel like it doesn't really serve much of a purpose anymore. Yeah, it's totally vestigial. But I do want there to be reasons to attack in the game. Those are generally something that I approve of in design. Ah, shit, I'm so bad. I get huge decline the trigger. So it doesn't actually matter. Never mind. So, Sophie situation? I think it is. Because if I flashed him in, he'll just say no to the trigger. Voltron and Life Gain decks will be affected. Yeah, that too. Life Gain decks will get better, but those aren't a big worry in my mind. He's just full on aggro, huh? Right? Monarch and Goat are two of the best commander mechanics. Yes, I do like Monarch and Goat. Those are some good ones. They have a lot of interesting ones for commander that force attacking in that sense. They went a bit too far with the Undercity or whatever, but the other ones are good. I'm mostly salty towards the Undercity though because of the fact that they just didn't think about it for 1v1. So the fact that the trap room does like 5 damage is 1/4 of your life in 1v1 games is like a massive deal. I've never actually. Have you guys ever looked at the backgrounds on these arena boards? Like, look at these like PS2 grade graphics going on at the bottom here, where the people just move side to side. It's kind of crazy. How was the new aggro deck? Okay. True life game will care, yeah, of course. Oh god, don't kill Snowflake, please. He's thinking about it. You can see him thinking about it. Me? He is a little psychopathic, but okay. Oh, this is gonna be an issue though. You start cloning Pyrogoyfs? Jeez. Mr. Snail has a good video about it. That is true. We could get an interesting MS commander to do that. That'd be cool. Thank God he attacked all. Okay, if this isn't good enough, we're probably just dying here. Because Pyrogoyfless Reflections is way too much to handle. Uh-oh. Eminence making the aggro, but how Eminence isn't the devil. Yeah, people don't like Eminence because it makes the games feel very samey. But I think it was also helped by the fact that, like, some of them were way too good. It is definitely bad. You know what I need to draw? I need to draw balance. Does that help? No. Just need to draw balance.
They'll never know what hit them. Isn't the unknown exciting?
Eminence is kind of a bad mechanic. There's a lot of room for stuff, but you get something free right off the bat, and the commander is a card problem. Yeah. Especially when you can't get rid of the ability. Yeah, I think that's the part that gets me the most. Like, starting with a small advantage for having a weaker commander or whatever would be an interesting choice, but especially Edgar Markov, the fact that he triggers in the command zone when you cast a vampire or whatever just feels icky. Like, there's literally nothing you can do about it. Like, they had an Eminence-style commander before. He was blue, white, and black, and he had, like, horrible stats. He was 7 mana or whatever, but they made it so at the beginning of every turn you gain 2 life. And I didn't hear many people complain about just having a passive 2 life gain every turn. Like, that kind of effect isn't a big deal. So it's really about how it's made. Yeah, I do believe Snail. Snail usually has good points about stuff. I do think aggro commander decks, like, do have ways of working. It's interesting how they make it work a lot of the time, but it's also strange because aggro feels a little bit counterintuitive to what, like, commander was at the soul of the format, which is why it's kind of weird to talk about. I feel kind of the same way about that I do Yu-Gi-Oh, to be honest, how, like, it's weird to talk about sometimes because different people want different things out of the game entirely, which makes it hard to have a discussion on, like, what it is. The brackets do help with that somewhat for, like, if you want to win, but there's, like, a weird middle ground, which is where most people sit, which is between brackets 2 and 3. Like, full casual, like, bracket 1, where you're just doing stuff for fun and theme decks and whatever. That's, like, obviously just for fun. But like once you get before CDH, but after that is that middle ground where like you're still trying to win and have a good time, but you also don't want to just do the best possible thing, and that's where it gets kind of strange to me. Things being in the command zone, doing stuff like, yeah, we can't stop that at all. Especially because there's no way to get around the command zone anymore. Makes it much more of a feel bad when it's just like, oh, so I literally can't do anything to that ever for the whole game. Fun for me.
May our axes strike as one.
Okay, play a mana rock that I can steal with deck. Commander being able to recast over and over is a problem in itself, IMO. That's also true. Commanders that cast themselves multiple times is definitely not like a glaring issue, but it's something that is worth looking at. I'm impressed with the power 6 before. Usually want to kill that card, I find. I only play CDH because I can't deal with playing suboptimally or not to win. Why not play with all the best cards? Because you want to have fun. You want to play with some cards that are shitty. It's fun to play with shitty cards sometimes because then it's funny when you win them. But yeah, as a competitive player, I understand where you're coming from though. A lot of the time you're like, why don't I just like play the cards that are good? Like I'm trying to win. Is that not what we're all trying to do here? But some people don't want to try to win. For some people, they want to try to do something else. Trial mirror. That's a nice draw. I'm okay with $30 vintage. Play limited to play with shitty cards. True. You can play limited to play with shitty cards. I like limited, so maybe that's me. But also, like, if limited is the only place you can play shitty cards, it kind of sucks because you can't, like, it's not for people who want to play with shitty cards. When you play limited, I still want to play with the good cards. I just want to play with not only the best cards. I want to have, you know, some variety. But if you want to play with shit cards specifically, you're kind of out of luck in terms of that, at least. Gotta drop off. This stream have a good one. Ah, thanks for stopping by, Conrad. It's been a pleasure having you here. I do believe I will also be hopping off the stream somewhat soon here, maybe after this game, because we're getting down to the end of things here. After a couple of drafts, I'm getting a little bit tired. I love limited draft. Cube is my favorite way to play Magic. Me too. I feel like most people who are pretty experienced with the game love Cube. Cube is awesome. It's hard not to like Cube. That'll probably end up being my next video, I think. You guys will get a little sneak peek here. Or war right now. CP tanks. No attacks. Not really the spot for balance.
There's plenty of profit to be had. A little looting never hurts.
Can't wait to have this. Oh, that's the other card. It's a bit of a yikes. Don't draw a land. Okay, he didn't draw land. If he attacks deck, I think I just let deck die. And then I bounce Nissa and I try to go for the win. 10 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he dies. Attack me, I definitely just take it.
Isn't the unknown exciting?
All right, nice. Does have anything else? And we get our second sweep of the stream. These are going quite well today. And I've had a pleasure chatting with you all about recent ongoings in card games and stuff. We'll see. My next video will probably a little more topical, or at least for recent stuff, and then we'll go back to some stuff about identity in card games. I think is a topic that I want to breach. But it's been a pleasure having you all on. Thank you for watching the stream. I'll try to work a little bit faster on the next video. I've been a little bit slow to upload it recently, but I'll get back to it. And thank you all for watching.